It is a beautiful Sunday here in New York City. No, the Twins aren't in town. The Yankees play them next. But this crowd is moving in for Game 3 of this 4-game set. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 3 of a 4-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees have been red hot. They are 9-1 in their last 10 games. Yesterday, another walk-off victory. It took 12 innings, and the Yankees won that one 6-5. This time, the hero in extra innings was Jorge Posada.
It was Posada, and really bailing out Robinson Cano on an ill-advised 3-0 bunt prior to this hit from Jorge Posada. But the difference maker, Jorge Posada, a great switch hitter in the middle of your lineup. He was sorely missed last year. Gets another walk-off hit for the Yankees, a no-doubter. You can see the reaction from the Yankee teammates. And the next thing coming is maybe a little pie in the face. You get the sense, Michael, he's thinking about it right there.
Absolutely. Comeback kids have been a lot of pies. 8 walk-off wins this year. 24 come-from-behind wins, most in the major leagues. Impressive. 11 wins when trailing after the 6th inning, and Posada, 5 career walk-off hits. Now, that was the good news yesterday. The bad news is that Chien-Ming Wang had to leave the game in the 6th inning with a bad shoulder. He's been put on the DL. Jonathan Albaladejo has been called up. We'll talk more about this as we move along in the game. Obviously, though, let's take a look at the New York Lottery pitching matchup for today's game. Brett Cecil will get the start for the Blue Jays. He's 2-1 with a 5.09. Jaba Chamberlain 4-2, 3.89. Last time out at the stadium, not too bad, but he's still looking for his first win here, David.
Well, he is, and you need to feel that dominance at home. Your home park, you need to really be feeling comfortable. But Jaba, one thing about Jaba, though, Michael, he can make pitches when he has to, even though he struggles at times. You see that fastball's got life on the outside corner. He bends, but he doesn't break. But also, as you see there at home, in 8 starts, he's 0-2. He needs to get on the board and feel good about pitching here at the new Yankee Stadium.
In his 15 starts this year, the Yankees as a team are 10-5, which happens to be very, very good. You win pennants with a .667 winning percentage. Well, he doesn't give you length, Jaba, so the Yankees might have to turn to the bullpen. That's not a bad thing, especially the way they've been pitching of late. They have been lights out. We'll break it down when we return right here on Yes. At the end. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Yankees Baseball. That's David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay, and the bullpen's been a lot better of late because of Phil Hughes. And yesterday, Phil Hughes, again, pitching 2 days in a row, pitched very well.
Well, a real good test. Phil Hughes has been so dominant in his new role. It's coming out of the pen, but it's the first look we've got at him on a good 3-2 pitch there, too. The thing about Phil Hughes is he throws quality strikes, Michael. He's been on the black. His velocity's up. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. Look at that pitch, right hitting the glove where Posada puts it. That's the thing what Phil Hughes has done since he's come in. His velocity's up. His control is better. No problem. Back-to-back days for Phil Hughes.
And he's been so good, that's why he's not going to be the one who replaces Chin-Ming Wong in the rotation. Now, speaking of relief, since June 1st, the bullpen's been outstanding. 6-2, 2.44, 3-1, a strikeout-to-walk ratio. Opponents hit 177 against the pen, and they've rung up 11 saves. Coming up, we've got big-time stars in this one. Vernon Wells, he's unbelievable when he's certainly clicking on all cylinders. And then Derek Jeter. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Low financing, and by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. It's a beautiful day here in New York. Jaba Chamberlain skips over the first base foul line. The Yankees are on the field, and we're ready for baseball on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in New York City. The Yankees have been red hot. The weather not that hot, but pretty nice, as the Yankees have won 9 of their last 10 games. On a clear sky here in New York City, some formation flying. The Yankees will try to stay in formation, the winning formation, and this is the Blue Jays starting lineup that Jaba Chamberlain is going to face. Marco Scudero, the shortstop, leads off. Batting second, playing second is Aaron Hill. Adam Lynn, the left fielder, will bat third. Cleanup hitter, third baseman Scott Rowland, carrying a 21-game hitting streak into this one. Lyle Overbase at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing center field, Vernon Wells. Alex Rios, the right fielder, is going to bat seventh. Batting eighth and DHing with David DeLucci. And Raul Chavez will catch. He's going to bat ninth.
Look at Jaba Chamberlain on the season. 15 starts, 4-2 record, 3.89 ERA, 81 innings pitched, 73 strikeouts. Here's the Chief Pitcher Scout Report. Go for the kill. Jaba is 8th in the AL in strikeouts per 9 innings at 8.1. He's also first in hit batters. He's got 9 hit batters on the year. Kind of goes 0-2 to 3-2 a lot. Want to see him be a little more efficient. Go for the kill a little earlier in the count. But this guy's always in the game. Talk about bending and not breaking. 3 runs or less in 24 of 27 career starts. Pretty good, even though he's not getting, not averaging 6-7 innings to start. He's getting better, and he just he never gives in. And remember when Jaba made his first career start versus Toronto on June 3rd last year in 08. He was transitioning from the bullpen to the rotation. He only went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 1 earned run, but that was the start of his rotation career.
Well, he wants to keep the line moving, as they say. The starters have begun the Yankees good outings, so Jaba Chamberlain is ready. Marco Scutaro is getting ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx as the young right-hander gets the sign from Posada. Takes a deep breath, winds, kicks, and deals. Fastball strike, we're underway. Scutaro 5 for 14. And he takes a pitch high, 1-1. Told you it's a beautiful day. Let's look at the game time weather conditions. Presented by Bigelow Tea. 77 degrees, 39% humidity, 7 miles per hour is the wind. And the forecast is from our favorite group, sunny and clear. Pitch is high.
Gorgeous day out here, Michael. No
Very
humidity
nice.
almost, just perfect weather.
Punched out right field and foul. Now the planes that we showed earlier, they're doing some skywriting overhead, and that's what Joe Girardi was up there trying to decipher. We can't quite decipher it.
And that is spelling out the Yankee starter on Thursday, if you can decipher it.
Yankees are trying to decipher it. 2-2. Got away from him, 3-2.
Seen Jaba throw a lot of 3-2 sliders this year. You see he's gone to a full count on 18% of the batters, highest for any AL qualifier.
That's why he has high pitch counts. The 3-2 missed outside, so Scutaro walks. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind Jaba Chamberlain. It's brought to you by our good friends at the Home Depot. Outfield, Damon Cabrera, Swisher, left to right. Infield, Ransom, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. Cody making his 15th start at third as A-Rod does get that day off. Posada behind the plate. Chamberlain is on the mound. Here's Aaron Hill. Hill 1 for his last 8. And the pitch. Fouled away. I was talking to Girardi today, David, about how Jaba always seems to go from 0-2 to 3-2. And there's always been an unwritten rule in Major League Baseball. You can't give up a hit on 0-2. Managers frown on it. But he said he has told Jaba, you go for it. You just try to get people out, be aggressive. I'm not saying throw one right down the middle, but don't try to make too perfect a pitch, because that's when you go to 3-2.
Well, it is. I mean, the old waste pitch, that you used to see on 0-2 counts in years gone by is really a thing of the past. You want to be aggressive. You want to be able to expand the strike zone, but at the same time, you don't want to throw a pitch just to get to the next pitch in terms of throw one up and in or way off the plate that really does you no good. You have to throw a pitch with meaning that leads you to the next pitch. There's nothing wrong with going after guys and getting them out on a 0-2 count.
Well, he's at 0-2 right now, so we'll monitor if he changes or if we look up and it'll be 3-2. The pitch. Now, that's not a bad pitch because he's trying to make the nasty one on the outside corner.
Good pitch. Trying to expand the zone a little bit. See Posada setting up away. Just a little movement on the catcher's glove just off the plate, but certainly a pitch with purpose on an 0-2 count.
1-2 pitch. Almost clipped him in the count, 2-2.
Jaba trying to bust a fastball inside. Wanted to make sure he got it in there. He certainly did. You know, and there's nothing wrong with making hitters move their feet. I think that's an effective pitch, and I don't think Jaba was trying to do that there, but certainly that's how you can make hitters move their feet effectively, by throwing at the belt buckle, just making them move, stand them up a little bit.
Given out to center field. Melky Cabrera makes the play. One away. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. That's going to bring up Adam Lind. We'll have an all-star selection show later on in the day. But what we know about the all-star voting so far is that Derek Jeter is the starting shortstop, and Mark Teixeira with a late rally, and having the Yankees at home certainly didn't hurt matters. Mark Teixeira beat out Kevin Youkilis for the starting spot at first base. And there's a strike. So half of the Yankee infield going to the all-star game as starters. I guess Robinson Cano would be in play in terms of an extra player, but there's so many good second basemen. And Alex's early injury and operation have kept his numbers down. So he's not going for once. All-star game this year is in St. Louis. Alex with the day off. Pitch outside, 1-1.
Yesterday, Lin gets fastball up and out of the plate right before Chien-Ming Wang has to walk off of the mound with a strained shoulder. You see one of the worst sinkers Wang threw all day, and Lind made him pay.
And that was the first warning flag to the Yankees about Wang. Joe Girardi was saying that pitch was 86 miles an hour, so he thought it was a breaking ball. And then when he came out, Posada said no, that was supposed to be a power sinker at 92. And then the next pitch, Posada knew something was up. It just wasn't coming out of his hand, had no life to it at all. That's when they knew that Wang's shoulder, something had happened in there.
I really feel bad for Chien-Ming Wang. He's been through so much this year, and then last year after his Lisfranc injury in his foot, really disappointing day. He looked like he was on the right track, getting it going yesterday. See that pitch right there? That was his final pitch of the game, and that's what Posada saw. Almost like he cut off his finish and just couldn't throw the ball properly.
Lynn skies one to left field. Johnny Damon flips down the glasses and puts it away on the warning track for the second out. You know what? You watch Johnny play left lately. It seems like he's on ice skates. He seems very uncertain out there, but most of the time he's getting the job done.
See, reaching for the shades, the flip down. Right at the last minute. And that's one of the toughest things for outfielders to do on a humpback line drive like that. When you're moving backwards, do you go ahead and get the shades down, flip them down, find the ball. You can see kind of a high sky today at Yankee Stadium. Breezy, too. You see the flags up top. Blowing out to right.
Here's Scott Rowland, 21-game hitting streak. Strike. And 0-2 count. courtesy tosses, Scudero was actually standing on the bag.
After Jaba gets an 0-2 count this year, after an 0-2 count, batters are batting 114 off of him so far this year.
Jaba had about 91 miles per hour on the fastball so far.
Yep, on average, he got up to 94 on the first pitch to Roller. You know, Jaba has trended throughout his career, and especially this year as a starter, as his velocity goes up as the innings go on. Usually in the first innings around 91, 92, but he's topped out at 94 so far this first inning and been very aggressive with his fastball.
That was 94 again as Roland fouled it back. It really is amazing. Jaba doesn't ever get roughed up. But you always look up and he's throwing 20 to 25 pitches an inning. And you do the math, you're not going to go much beyond the fifth inning if that keeps going on. Girardi said today, before the game, you know, he's got to have 11 or 12 pitch innings in order to get him into the seventh. This will be his 20th pitch of the inning. Outside.
Well, sometimes that's easier said than done. You know, Jaba's kind of a fly ball strikeout pitcher, as you see the ratio in the breakdown of 11 strikes to 9 balls. But sometimes you could see there, he went after Roland 0-2 and he couldn't get him to put it in play. You know, sometimes when you have good stuff, hitters will foul it off. And you're trying to get the ball to be put into play, but sometimes your stuff's too good to get that to happen for you early in the count.
Two. Just underway here at the stadium. Blue Jays and the Yankees. Game 3 of a 4-game set. Tomorrow afternoon, the finale. Goes. Grounded foul. Now it's imperative today to get some modicum of length out of Chamberlain because you're working with a bit of a compromised bullpen. They're not going to use Phil Hughes 3 days in a row. They're not going to use Phil Koch again. Brian Bruni threw a lot of pitches yesterday. Joe said, I'm not using him today. There you have it. 3 of your relievers are out of commission. So that leaves you Asaves, Robertson, Mariano, and Tomko. The 2-2. Foul back. And also the new call-up, Jonathan Albaladejo.
The reason he was called up with Chen-Ming Wang going on the disabled list, sort of a temporary fill-in for now until the Yankees figure out who they're going to start on Thursday in Minnesota.
Swung on a missed out. Breaking ball diving down and away. So it took 24 pitches, but the Blue Jays don't score. They do strand one. Blue Jays nothing. Yankees coming to bat. starter, scratched because of a pain in the shoulder. Derek Jeter, the Yankee captain and shortstop, leads off. He has a 10-game hitting streak. Johnny Damon's at left. He'll bat second. Batting third, playing first base, Mark Teixeira. Jorge Posada, the hero yesterday, he'll catch, he'll clean up. Batting fifth and DHing Hideki Matsui. Nick Swisher's in right field. He'll bat sixth. The number 7 hitter, second baseman Robinson Cano. He's been struggling. Melky Cabrera in center, and Cody Ransom, the third baseman, will bat ninth.
Look at Brett Cecil on the year. 7 games, 2-1, 5.09 ERA. He's got 35 in the third innings, 46 hits, 24-10 strikeouts to walks. And the Jeep pitcher scout report, unexpected. It's almost like you're in the firehouse and the alarm goes off. You get an unexpected start. Scott Richmond was scratched from today's start. Brett Cecil gets the call. The bad versus the good. He's got a 10.54 ERA versus teams over 500 in 3 starts. And the good versus the bad, he's got a 1.71 ERA in 3 starts versus teams under 500. A small sampling, but certainly a big test for a young lefty here at Yankee Stadium against this lineup.
Yankees a season high 14 games over 500, and the captain leads off. And all the cameras are aimed at him, including ours from center field. And the pitch is a strike. Good numbers against the Blue Jays lifetime. Got off to a nice start, the starting shortstop in the American League lineup for the All-Star game. The 0-1. Driven down the right field line. That's going to be trouble if it's a fair ball. It's a fair ball. It's trouble. And Jeter decides to hold it first. Great respect for the arm of Alex Rios. 11-game hitting streak for Derek.
Well, it really is. You see Jeter going out over the plate, getting a fastball on the corner, but up a little bit. And this is down the line. You got double written all over this, but Rios gets to it quickly. He does have a good throwing arm, and Jeter thinks better of it, leading off the inning especially.
Here's Johnny Damon. 5 for his last 19. That's on this homestand as Cecil goes over to first. Rolling in on the grass at third for Damon.
It's been an interesting dynamic. As soon as Joe Girardi made the decision to flip-flop this guy and Derek Jeter, go ahead and let Jeter lead off and let Damon bat second. They haven't really bunted a lot. They've let Damon take a shot at the hole between first and second.
Take a look at the umpires this afternoon. Marty Foster behind the plate. Chad Fairchild at first. The veteran Coochie, John Hirschbeck at second. And Wally Bell is over at third. See what the grounds crew has been doing last couple of homestands is they water the infield dirt, but right around first base they keep it covering there so you get good footing, and that's for both teams, not just the Yankees. They don't want that to be a wet track if you're leading off first base. Count 2-1.
It's like that little patch in that NFL playoff game where they came out with the snowblower in Buffalo and cleared off a spot for the place kicker.
I think that was New England.
That was New England,
yeah.
right?
And it was a guy on a work furlough program.
Brought him out and sweep off a little spot.
Shattered back, a fly ball shallow right. Coming on Rios, he slides to make the play.
Johnny Damon gets a slider off the end of the bat, full swing. And that's the thing about Johnny Damon. Even when he breaks his bats, it looks like he's on it. You see Rios kind of gets a slow start because of the full swing off the end of the bat, but makes up for it with the speed and a nifty little play with a hook slide.
Right in the heel of the glove, lucky to hold on. Gets a clap out of the pitcher.
Big out for a young lefty here. Get your first out in the first inning.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Mark 7 for his last 20. And as we mentioned, voted in as the American League starting first baseman in the All-Star game. And when you consider the type of April that he had, he just couldn't get a hit, couldn't do anything. For him to get his numbers up to where they are now, pretty impressive. Had a 3-hit game yesterday. Count 2-0.
So versus left-handed pitching this year, Mark Teixeira in 74 at bats is hitting .351. 4 homers and 18 ribbies.
Well, here are the starters for the AL. I mean, it's just wrong that Josh Hamilton's the starting center fielder. He's been hurt for most of the first half. It's Bay, Hamilton, Suzuki, Longoria, Jeter, Pedroia, and Teixeira. Joe Mauer behind the plate. A walk to Teixeira. Now, you always have answers for me, David, when I have questions that I just don't understand the rational thought behind it. If the All-Star game counts, as they say, if it counts, and it decides home field advantage in the World Series, which is important if there ever becomes a 7th game again, why would you allow the fans to vote? If you had a game that decided whether or not a team was going to the playoffs, would you allow the fans to choose the lineup, or would you allow the manager to choose the lineup? It either counts or it's an exhibition game. If it's an exhibition game, the fans should choose the lineup.
Well, you can't take the vote away from the fans. You know, you have to keep them involved in the All-Star game. And I understand what you're saying, Michael, and there's more flexibility. The managers in the American League and the National League have more flexibility to pick more players. They've expanded rosters. Obviously, there's a lot riding on who gets postseason advantage in terms of home field advantage. But you can't take the fans out of the equation.
Here's Posada. Time is called. Well, I have a little bit of a solution. Let the fans have a third of the vote. Let the writers have a third of the vote. Let the managers and coaches have a third of the vote.
I'm certainly open to that, those sorts of suggestions. I'm just against cutting the fans out of the equation altogether. I know over the long haul, home field advantage probably means something, but really, since it's been instituted, it really hasn't made a difference. I think it's 3-3 in terms of World Series records. Teams with home field advantage because of the All-Star game outcome really hasn't made a big difference as of yet in terms of the outcome of the World Series. But you know what? Fans want to see Dustin Pedroia, even though his first half numbers are not up to his MVP numbers last year. They go on the body of work. The fans generally get it right. It's not about the best first half of the season. The fans have a right to pick who they want to see in the All-Star game.
And I agree with you. Then it shouldn't count for anything important. That's my only point. It shouldn't be the thing that decides what team gets the home field advantage. The game's too important to have. If the fans are choosing, it's an exhibition game. And I agree. I think it's great that the fans get to see the players that they want. But Josh Hamilton has played, 20 games in the first half of the year, and he's the starting center fielder. That's not right. And also, fans, I think they voted Manny Ramirez 7th. So, I mean, the guy was suspended for 50 games, and he still got enough votes to finish 7th or 8th. So, I just think there's a lot of issues in that voting. The 1-1. Line drive, left field, coming on Lynn, but the plate on a hop. Runners had a hold up, didn't know if it was going to fall in, and the bases are loaded with the Yankees here in the first.
Here's Posada getting a sort of looks like a hook, a slow hook, about 76 miles an hour. He really sees it, stays back, turns on it, hooks it into left field. Jeter's got to make sure he's making sure. Posada hit that ball hard, but it was a sinking style line drive that he got a little bit out in front of. Jeter wanting to make sure that the ball dropped in.
Here's Hideki Matsui, who's had a very good homestand. 6 for 13, a third of the 6 hits over the wall. Soft ground ball toward first, and through the legs of Overbay. Jeter scores. Here comes Teixeira. He is out as Posada moves to third. So Overbay boots the ball, allowing a run to score. But then Aaron Hill recovers and makes a strong throw to Chavez to get Teixeira.
Well, he did. It looked like he was caught in between, like he was already ahead of himself, thinking he was going to try to cut down the runner at second. We see Teixeira, ultra-aggressive base running, clearly out at home plate. Teixeira really choosing to be aggressive and push it. And you can see that even though the ball was in the other hand here, as you see, the ball's in the glove there. Makes the tag and the ball's in the other hand.
Wow, that's a bad call.
Good pickup, good shot there, guys.
It's an E3, but he gets an RBI as Nick Swisher inside outs the ball to right field. It's a base hit. Scoring is Posada. Matsui moves to second, and the Yankees lead 2-0.
Got a lot of action here in a hurry. Nick Swisher, first pitch swinging, middle end, fights it off away. Taking a shot to right field. Gets it done.
Cito Gaston's going to have a talk with Brett Cecil. You know, the play at home plate, I don't know if you had this in Kansas City, but in the playgrounds of New York City, David, we called electricity. If you had the ball in one hand and you made the tag with the other, the electricity carried to the other hand. And I'm told that they had that in Jersey as well, but I guess they don't have that in the big leagues. There's no electricity in the big leagues.
No electricity in the big leagues. And it was a tricky play because, you know, Chavez caught the ball in his glove and went to make the tag, and all of a sudden his hand and the glove separated, and the ball stays in the hand, and he makes the tag with the glove.
He never even tagged him with the ball, ever. Take a look at the Coors Light freeze cam, frozen right there. The ball's in the right hand. The glove is tagging him, and he is safe.
And to Marty Foster, the home plate umpire's credit, he's looking at the tag. He sees that the ball hit the glove. Chavez went to make the tag, and he's got to concentrate on the tag. So easy to miss that the ball stayed in his bare hand.
So there's electricity in the ballpark, and not at home plate, but the umpire just didn't see it. Now Robinson Cano has to break out of this. He is 0 for his last 20 with runners in scoring position. 0 for his last 20, and he's up again with runners in scoring position. Now he's dropped from the lineup today against the left-hander. He's batting 7th rather than 5th. And Joe Girardi said, wherever you drop a player, he's going to come up with runners in scoring position. But when you're the protection for Alex Rodriguez, you have to be able to drive in runs. Because they'll do what they did yesterday, and they'll just walk Alex Rodriguez. That's the longest streak without a hit with runners in scoring position for any American League player this season.
The electricity play, huh?
Never had that in KC?
That was pretty good. I liked it.
I thought sure they'd have that at Cobblestone Park.
No electricity play, because, you know, when you're playing 2-on-2 in wiffle ball, you just heave it at the guy. You're trying to run the bases, you try to drill him, and then if you hit him, he's out.
Count 2-2 with 2 outs, 2 on. Yankees lead 2-0. We're in the bottom of the first inning. The pitch missed outside, and the count full. So the base runners will go 3-2 and 2 outs. And Robinson Cano knows exactly what's going on. He might not know the exact numbers, but he knows he has not come through with runners in scoring position. So he's putting pressure on himself right here.
The 21st pitch for Brett Cecil this inning.
And now he's 0 for 21 as Hill makes the play here in the first. The Yankees get 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error 2 men left, 2-0 Yanks after 1. Extended period of time, how should they replace him in the rotation? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Here are your choices. Number 1, stretch out Asaves. Number 2, stretch out Hughes. 3, call up a pitcher. 4, acquire a pitcher. Now, you can make the choice. I think that the Yankee choice is going to be call up a pitcher.
Right now, especially leading into the All-Star break, you've just got one start to handle on coming this Thursday in Minnesota to replace Wong. And then you've got the All-Star break, and as you said, Michael, it's more like 4 days off for the Yankees. And they can reevaluate at that point.
High fly ball off the bat of Overbay. Nick Swisher there, and he makes the play. 1 away. Overbay's now 2 for his last 25. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios, over 100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. Andy Pettitte coming off his best stadium start. He gets started for the Yankees 8-3, 4.25. Really interested to see Ricky Romero, former #1 draft pick, has a great changeup. 6-3, 2.85. Again, mark this down. It's a rare Monday afternoon start. So we will come on the air earlier than usual, noon, then 12:30, and then 1:07 first pitch. There's Vernon Wells. Carries a 4-game hitting streak into today. And the 0-1. Outside.
Well, what do you think of these 4 straight day games, Michael?
I wish it was 3. Just, throw a little night game in there so everybody could get a little more sleep. But you know what? I love day baseball. It's just getting here. What do you think of it, Mr. Cohen?
I like it. I've had some good times at night. Good dinners. Beating the streets a little bit.
The 1-2. But it shows how, as you've gotten older, the maturity is just off the charts now. You come here, you're ready to play, you've got clear eyes, you seem wide awake. It's beautiful. Ground ball, and past the diving Ransom into left field. Maybe it's the fact that you're not hanging with Wells.
Well, he is definitely not in town. He's on the West Coast. Jaba Chamberlain with a hook down. Vernon Wells goes out and hooks it himself. Decent pitch from Jaba. You see that kind of defensive swing from Wells, but finds the hole.
Here's Alex Rios. A lot of rumors swirling around Alex Rios. And Jaba went to sleep, but now he wakes up and he guns down Vernon Wells. Wells just took off as Jaba was on the rubber, but then Jaba calmly stepped off and gunned him down. Second time that's happened to the Jays in the series.
Well, you can see right here, this is where Posada was the one that was screaming. That's a guy I heard even up here in the booth. Step off, step off. You see Posada. Posada's the one that alerted him. And sometimes a pitcher, you're picking up signs, you don't see a runner take off. Posada right on top of that. Don't know what Wells was thinking about there.
High fly ball, left center. Damon flips down the glasses, coming over Melky, and he makes the play. And a 10-pitch inning for Jaba Chamberlain, which he needed following the 24-pitch first. 2-0 Yanks. Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. A couple of years ago on July 5th, Mariano recorded his 425th career save, passing John Franco for third on the all-time list. Mariano remains second. It's going to be tough for him to catch Trevor Hoffman, who's about 70 ahead of Mo. Beautiful sky here on a Sunday afternoon in New York as Melky Cabrera leads off against Brett Cecil. And the Yankees lead 2-0. Count 1-0. Cabrera, Ransom, and Jeter. Grounded foul. After tomorrow afternoon's game, the Yankees hit the road before the All-Star break. 3 games in Minneapolis against the Twins, and then 3 games in Anaheim against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Then 4 days off for the All-Star break. Pitch is high. This is how July shapes up. After the All-Star break, they're home for a while. 3 games against the Tigers, 3 Orioles, 4 Oakland. They're back on the road. 3 against Tampa Bay and 4 against the White Sox in Chicago. 2-2. Tapped up the middle. Backhanded by Hill. Nice play by Aaron Hill to get Melky Cabrera.
See Aaron Hill ranging up the middle. Backhand stab. Flip on the run. Plenty of time to get Melky. And that is sort of the the measuring stick for a second baseman, going back up the middle and backhanding that ball and being able to whip it around and throw across your body. We've seen Robinson Cano do that so well playing second base for the Yanks this year. Hill with a nice play right there.
Pitch to Ransom's upstairs.
Michael, it just seemed like we were doing the interleague Subway Series, I don't know, a week ago, 10 days ago, and the Yankees were 8 games over 500 and going the wrong way.
And now 14 games over.
Just that fast. It looked like the Red Sox were heading towards 20 games over 500. You and I talked about that, the sense of urgency when Brian Cashman went down to Atlanta. The Yankees were kind of slumping a little bit offensively. And, well, you talk about a quick burst. Man, they've gotten back up, hit their high water mark. Previous high water mark was 11 before that. Now they're up to 14 games over. Boston's come back down a little bit.
Well, if you think about it, David, when Cashman showed up the middle game, since that point, they've lost 1 time. And that was Thursday night against Seattle. Those are the standings right now. Yankees just a game behind. Red Sox have lost 2 games to Seattle, and that's the first series the Red Sox have lost in 8 series. So Seattle that lost the series here to the Yankees goes into Fenway and takes the series, and they could sweep today. I joked with Brian Cashman, you might have to make every road trip. And he said, if I know they're going to win every time I go, I'll make every single trip. He said, but I don't think it had anything to do with me. He said, we're just too good of a team to continue to play that way.
Well, the Yankees have shown signs of really putting all phases of the game together. Now that their bullpen is solid. A little blow yesterday, obviously, with Wong walking off the mound.
Driven down the left field line. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball.
Well, Cody Ransom's got a quick bat, and he's got some pop, especially when he can pull it. And you can see that ball's hooking easily. Foul.
And Ransom works a walk, so Cecil walks the number 9 batter in the Yankee lineup. Today after the postgame, don't miss an all-new WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show to get Joe's wrap-up of this week's homestand. And after, it's the Emmy Award-winning Yankees on Deck. It all starts today after the postgame. It's only on Yes. We told you that Derek Jeter was voted to start at shortstop for the American League. He's not going to like this stat at all. He became the oldest shortstop voted to start an All-Star game since Luis Aparicio got in at the age of 37 in 1971. I can't believe that time has flown so quickly, David, that we're actually talking about Jeter being the oldest anything. I keep thinking he was 21. He's 35 years old.
35 years old. Back to another All-Star game for Derek Jeter, and deservedly so.
He's had a good season in the field as well.
I think Mick Kelleher, the first base coach for the Yankees this year, and a great infield coach himself, has really helped Jeter with defensive positioning this year. The Yankees have done a great job with him of shading him up the middle a little more in certain situations. And Jeter's gotten to a lot more balls up the middle this year than he had in the last couple of years.
And he rips a single to left field. So Derek is going to his 10th All-Star game, picks up his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
Derek Jeter, a little cutter, turns on it inside. You know, when Derek Jeter really gets hot, this is what he does a lot of times on inside pitches. He turns on it as opposed to that Jeterian swing that we talk about so much, Michael, and the inside-out swing to right. When Jeter starts pulling the ball a little, just enough, that makes him double trouble, and his average coming into that at-bat was .311. Going to be better than that after that hit. 2 for 2 on the day.
There's Johnny Damon. Popped up to right in the first. There's a strike. Johnny, 1 home run away from matching last season's total and 1 home run away from 200 for his career. Another strike. Damon hit a home run in yesterday's game that tied the game at 5, and to see Roy Halladay with a look of incredulity on his face, he never thought that ball was going to get out. It just got out, just over the W.B. Mason sign in right field, over the leaping try of Alex Rios. Swing and a miss, and Damon down on strikes for the second out. There's Roy Halladay. Here's Mark Teixeira, who walked in the first inning. Was just released that another Yankee was named to the All-Star team, and that was Mariano Rivera, his 10th All-Star team. And if you think about it, David, the Yankees have played pretty good baseball. They're a game out of first place, but nobody's had an unbelievable season. Really, nobody. Teixeira's done very well. Jeter's had a very good season, and they're the ones that are voted in. But if you think about guys that might be chosen as reserves, well, really who? Alex missed 28 games with a hip injury, so his numbers have been compromised, although for the amount of time he missed, his power numbers are there, but he has a low batting average. So really, no one's had this breakout season. Sabathia has done well, but he hasn't had an eye-opening first half. Andy Pettitte has 8 wins, but you wouldn't look at him and say, well, that's an all-star performance in the first half. Somehow they've done it. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Mariano Rivera might be the exception to that rule in terms of he's only blown 1 save, although he's had trouble in non-save opportunities. But the Yankees have matched up well this year. Early in the year, when Teixeira was struggling, Swisher was hot. And when Sabathia was struggling early, Burnett was hot. They've really matched up well and picked each other up at various times. And Teixeira walks to load the bases, so Mark walks for the second time. I think the Yankees have really gotten a boost this year from a lot of their young players. Both Melky and Gardner, Hughes and Jaba, 2 #1 draft choices. Hughes now in the bullpen dominating. Jaba Chamberlain here trying to have a good start today and build on what he's doing in the rotation. I think, you talk about Cervelli catching. Yep. The list goes on and on. The young players on the Yankees, the farm system has really helped this team out this year and really produced. Well, I guess it's greater than the sum of its parts, which is important, and that's usually how winning teams get it done. You don't have to have all-star performances all around. Just guys doing their job, moving the line along. Here's Posada, bases loaded, 2 outs. Foul back. Posada sitting on a changeup. We saw Sean Camp throw a lot of changeups yesterday and a lot of good ones. That was probably the only one he threw that he probably liked back from yesterday's outing. He had a great outing, but Posada hurt him in that situation to win the game. Ground ball, base hit to left field. Scoring is Ransom. Here comes Jeter. He'll score. It's a 2-run single for Jorge Posada, and the Yankees lead 4-0. And Jorge Posada has just passed Paul O'Neill for 20th place on the Yankees all-time hits list with 1,467. Well, the Yankees are featuring 4 switch hitters in their lineup today. As usual, Posada batting right-handed, obviously on the left. He gets a cutter that's supposed to get in there, and it stays right there, just below the belt, inner third at best. And all you have to do on that is just get the bat head to the ball, find the hole. We got 2 RBIs. last strike. And the fans now are told what we just told you. Posada now with 37 ribbies. Count 0-2. Brett Cecil continuing his struggles, as David told you in the scouting report. When he faces teams over 500, he has an ERA over 10. Teams under 500, an ERA under 2. And the 0-2. A little bit low, along with David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. And we thank you for spending part of your holiday weekend with us. Close to a full house here at the stadium, watching the Yankees with a 4-0 lead over the Blue Jays. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Still batting here in the second. First and second with 2 outs.
How would you like that, Michael? You wake up on a Sunday in New York, and you're Brett Cecil, and you don't think you're going to start today, and you get to the ballpark, and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off, and oh yeah, you're going to start against the Yankees here today. No clue. Scott Richmond, the scheduled starter, was scratched. Sometimes that works to your advantage. You don't have time to think. Sometimes it doesn't. So far, Brett Cecil kind of struggling here in the first couple of innings. Jaba Chamberlain got to feel pretty good right now.
Grounded foul.
It's the type of start the Yankees envisioned for Jaba Chamberlain. He hasn't won at home yet this year. You get him some runs early in the game. We've talked about Jaba trying to be more aggressive, and it's certainly on a pitch count. But this is tailor-made for that guy right there. You got 4 runs now. Now you can just kind of pin your ears back and be ultra aggressive when you get back out there in the next inning and try to really go after guys and get quick outs.
High fly ball, shallow left, long run for Lind on the run. Can't make the play, but it's a foul ball. A lot of running on a hot day and taking their time getting back.
Matsui's always been able to handle righties and lefties, although this year versus left-handed pitching, he's hit .231 and 65 at-bats. Although 8 of his 12 home runs this year have come at home. That's the intriguing part about Matsui. Even though he can't play the outfield anymore, it's well documented about his knee troubles. And the Yankees originally thought he might get some outfield time. That's obviously not going to happen now. But in this ballpark, as the DH, Matsui can do damage. And he's starting to get it going. He's starting to look better and better every at-bat.
Runners will go. The 3-2. Drilled deep to right field. Fair ball? No. Kept hooking, and he missed a 3-run home run by that much, and also broke his back. This will be the 31st pitch of the inning for Brett Cecil. And there's more to come as he walks Hideki Matsui to reload the bases. His 3rd walk of the inning. 52 pitches for Cecil. And Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, comes out.
Well, that's what Yankee Stadium will do to a young pitcher. It'll push you out of the strike zone. As you see The ratio of strikes to balls there for a young Brett Cecil today, not what he was looking for.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. I used to hear stories about games in the 40s and 50s. I don't know if they did it when you pitched. If you were getting an unexpected start, that there would be a ball in your shoe in the locker. Did that ever happen to you?
That never happened to me.
But you've heard that, right?
I have heard that. That's how Don Larson learned he was going to pitch his perfect game during the World Series. He walked to the ballpark and found the ball in his shoe. The old ball in the shoe, Michael. You're getting the ball today. I doubt if that's the way it worked with Brett Cecil this morning. It's certainly a surprise starter today, and finds himself in another jam. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Here's Nick Swisher, inside out in an RBI single to right field in the first inning. 41st ribby for him. And there's a strike. And despite his struggles, as you see the runners peppered around the bases for the Yankees, they don't have anybody up in the bullpen, as if they're saying, you know what, you got to take a bullet for the team. This is an emergency start. Our bullpen's been used, and you're out there. You would think for the second time, bases loaded, 4 runs in, somebody would be warming up, and no one's warming up out there. The 0-1. There's a strike. 2.
And some guys moving around and stretching just in case. But you're right, Michael. There's Sean Camp, who pitched yesterday. Multiple innings as well. It's gut check time right here for young Brett Cecil. Well, a lot of times, Michael, with a young pitcher, obviously you're trying to win the game, but you can do some very good evaluation during this type of a game. You know, he's struggling, bases loaded, 2 outs. As a pitching coach or a pitcher on the Toronto's Blue Jay staff, you're really keying in on this guy and see how he reacts to adversity.
And the count 1-2. One-two. Boy, he is really laboring. I understand the plexiglass room out there in the bullpen is very air conditioned and is very comfortable, but I'm just amazed that no one's stepping out of that room to warm up. Some guys just getting sun, but no throwing. And Nick Swisher connects here. It's 8-0, and a reliever hasn't thrown a pitch yet. Second inning, but we'll see if he connects. The 2-2. Strike 3, so Cecil works out of problems. Kind of. 2 runs on 2 hits, and the bases are left loaded. We played 2. It's 4-0 Yanks. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium, everybody. As the Yankees are leading this one 4-0. McDonald's McCafe. A new line of coffees made with fresh ground espresso and real steamed whole or non-fat milk. You're going to have them both. Mocha and latte McCafes are available hot or iced. Also offered are cappuccino and hot chocolate McCafes. Available in a variety of size options and flavors, including caramel, hazelnut, vanilla, and sugar-free vanilla. How are they?
I think I just made a new drink. You mix them together, Michael.
Really? You know what? Here's what you could do, too, David. Have a little French fry.
Oh, fries. Mickey D's.
Mickey D's are great. Thank you, everybody at McDonald's, for bringing us some of this stuff. And boy, is Paul O'Neill jealous. He missed a weekend. We had ice cream yesterday, McCafes and fries. This is living.
I'm double fisting caffeine up here, Michael.
Yeah, you need that.
Those are pretty good. Most are pretty good.
Yeah. So when you tune in 2 innings and David is talking very quickly, you'll think you're listening to Al Leiter, but it's really David Cole.
Jaba, 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 do.
2-1 count on DeLucci. See, they know, David, that I'm not a coffee drinker, so they brought me hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate
and French fries.
And a large fry.
That one's popped up. Jeter shading his eyes from the sun, and he puts it away.
Jeter got the sunglasses working today, Mike.
You never see that. He hardly ever does that, David.
The high sky, you can see using the glove, shading his face and his eyes, fighting it with shades and glove, off the heel of the glove too. Well, you know, those plays are so much more difficult than you really think they are.
There's Raul Chavez. There's strike. I just don't recall him wearing sunglasses that often.
Very rarely would you see Derek Jeter.
He usually just shades his eyes with the glove, but it's so strong that he's decided to go with the sunglasses. Foul back.
Jaba's holding true to form here in the third inning. His velocity is creeping up. 95 miles an hour on that last fastball. He touched 96 in the last inning. Came out throwing 91, 92 in the first.
The 0-2. Punched out right field. It is a base hit for Chavez. Up against the stands. Fielded out there by Swisher. Chavez going for 2. Here's the throw. He's in there with a double. Gutsy base running by Chavez, who is not blessed with great speed, but he took a chance on Nick Swisher's arm.
Chavez has had some good at-bats. You see, that's almost an emergency protective type hack, just trying to spoil it. Gets a line drive down the line inside the foul line. Swisher up. Heaves it in there. Just a little offline, but it would have taken a perfect throw to make that play close.
Oh, that was like a belly flop. That could not have felt too good.
The catcher sliding into second base.
That catcher got himself a double. Back to the top of the lineup, and Marco Scutaro.
Well, I'm waiting for Flash to text me now after that last comment, Michael. Talking about catchers and slides, and Flash is watching this. I know he's steaming right now.
This might be a pool day for John.
Think he's not even tuned into us today?
I think he might be DVRing this. We'll check it out later, pitch by pitch.
A little encore action.
Popped up, right side, and play. Chavez looks like he hurt his neck with that belly flop.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. It looked like he, once his belly flopped, his head followed.
Catchers have great speed. Joe Girardi was actually a fairly fleet-footed catcher, and he wasn't going to break any land speed records, but he ran better than, say, Posada does. Joe Torre was a catcher who was, in his own words, painfully slow. Jose Molina is very, very slow. Francisco Cervelli has some speed, but I guess as you're a catcher, as you get older, your legs just wear out. The Yankees will have a decision concerning Cervelli, as Molina is expected back by the road trip.
Joe Girardi, the skipper, was a pretty good runner for a catcher. Good athlete.
Grounded to second. Cano right there. 2 outs as Chavez moves to third. Well, Joe Girardi had 26 career triples and 44 stolen bases. His biggest triple, though, David, 96 against Greg Maddux, Game 7, across the street at the old Yankee Stadium, and got the Yankees their first world championship since 1978. So a long stretch for that organization.
And he was humping that night. Joe Girardi could run a little bit. That was a legitimate triple. He hit it over the head of Marquise Grissom, the center fielder for the Braves in 1996.
Hill swings and misses.
You can really see a discernible change in the strategy for Posada and Chamberlain. This a good slider and a swing and a miss, but just the 9th slider Jaba's thrown today. Out of his 47 pitches, he's thrown 37 fastballs. So you see the intent is to get aggressive with the fastball.
Grounded and pass, third base and down the left field line. So Hill will pick up a single, drive in a run. Chavez scores. Blue Jays on the board. It's 4-1 Yankees.
Well, here's the 10th breaking ball of the day, and it's not a good one. This one is worse than the last one. It's up. It's flat. Very rarely do you see Jaba not get good tight spin and miss down with the slider. He ends up with a double inside the bag, right down the line. No chance for Cody Ransom.
Aaron Hill celebrates his selection to the American League All-Star team with an RBI single, his 57th ribby. There's a strike to Lynn.
More of a curveball there from Jaba. One of the first ones he's thrown today. In the upper 70s in terms of velocity. A good first pitch to a lefty. If you can drop that curveball in for the speed variance and get a strike, now you can go to work. 0-1.
That one is driven deep to right field. Swisher turns, looks, see ya! A 2-run home run for Lind. And all of a sudden it's a ball game. Yankee lead is now 4-3. That is a quick turn of events for the Yankees, who seemed as if they had this game in unbelievable control, but Lynn's 18th home run changes that.
You can see how quick Lynn's bat is. Posada setting up in, Jaba trying to pound him in with a fastball, does not get it in there. Adam Lind, number 18, a shot over the scoreboard. You can see Posada moving that glove. That fastball is supposed to be in. Ends up more down the middle, a line drive right over the auxiliary scoreboard.
So a quick trip to the mound by Dave Island. And it's Dave Island's birthday today. I'm sure he would rather relax a bit. That one's fouled straight back here. And under our boot, they're getting closer, David.
I saw you move. You must have been an old catcher, Michael. You were
I was
reacting.
moving to be right under it, yeah.
Sure, I was looking down. I said, no chance. That ball's not getting up here. I was playing the odds.
And you have that bad pinky, so I was trying to protect you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The 0-1. That's how close it came.
Ooh, off the Yes Network sign. YesNetwork.com. There you go. There's your plug. Talk about hits. There's a hit for the network.
You know, as we speak right now, Kimberly Jones is blogging on her Keeping Up with the Jones blog, which is a very popular blog. Third most popular. It just came up there. There she is.
Hi, Kim.
Popped up. Swisher calls off Cano, and that will do it. But a big inning for the Blue Jays. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors and nobody left. The big blow. Adam Lynn goes over the auxiliary scoreboard in right field to make it close. It's 4-3 Yanks. On Duncan by Firestone, a tradition of innovation, and by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV. Holiday weekend ending here, and it's been a great Independence Day weekend. Hope you all had a great time with your family and friends. On the Modell scoreboard, 4-3 Yankees lead. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Robinson Cano against Brett Cecil, who's kind of got a second life here. He was in danger of getting knocked out of the game in the second inning. Yankees had the bases loaded, but Nick Swisher struck out looking, and his team has gotten back some runs. Pitch is low, 1-0. They announced to the crowd between innings the 3 Yankees that made the All-Star game. Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and Mark Teixeira. Yankees really ran a heavy campaign the last couple of days before the voting ended to vote early and often for Teixeira, who was trailing Youkilis, and the crowd gave a rousing cheer when Teixeira's face was shown on the scoreboard, and they announced him as the All-Star first baseman. And I'm sure that the fans took an extra amount of delight that he beat out a Red Sox, Kevin Youkilis. So in his first year with the Yankees, he's an All-Star.
Very tight race, too, between Youkilis and Teixeira. And I'm sure we'll probably see Teixeira in the home run hitting contest as well in St. Louis.
Did you like going to the All-Star game?
I did. I really enjoyed it. You know, sometimes you feel like if you're a pitcher on the All-Star team, you almost feel left out because the fans come for the workouts to see home runs, the home run hitting contest. And it's not like we could have a control contest, you know, or get out there and pitch and show them, you know, a slider contest. You just kind of kind of sat there and you watched the hitters have their day, especially in the festivities leading up to the game. And then when it was game time, there was a lot of stress on pitchers. You're facing the best hitters in the world. I always thought, Michael, physically speaking, it was more taxing on pitchers in an all-star game than hitters. Hitters generally go in there and a couple of at-bats and take it on to the dugout. Pitchers, you got to go full strength. You got to kick guys out, no matter whether you're pitching 1 inning, 2 or 3. A high degree of difficulty for pitchers in terms of exertion.
3-2, and there is a base hit to right field. Rios cuts it off, so Cano picks up a single. Tomorrow afternoon on Yes, the Yankees close out this wraparound weekend series with the Blue Jays. Coverage will start at noon with batting practice today. The Tri-State 4 pregame. It's the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Andy Pettit against Ricky Romero. It all starts tomorrow at noon only on Yes. Now, David, you were a 5-time All-Star. Do you remember the first time you went, and were you overwhelmed?
Yes, I do remember. It was 1988 when I was with the Mets. Whitey Herzog was the manager of the Cardinals. He was also the All-Star Game manager. And Whitey picked me for the All-Star Game, really my first full season in the big leagues. So certainly it was very memorable. It was in Cincinnati. I remember facing Paul Molitor. I did get to pitch in that game, pitched 1 inning, struck out Paul Molitor, looking on the inside corner. Got my inning in, no damage, floated off the field.
Foul ball by Melky. I'm always amazed by baseball players because people don't realize the grind of a baseball season unless you're right in the middle of it. There are 18 off days, and a lot of those off days are spent traveling, so they're not truly off days. 18 off days throughout a 6-month season, and 3 days off would be nirvana for people. But baseball players truly want to go to the All-Star game. Although those 3 days off would be great, and those that don't make it rationalize that. But I think everybody wants to go rather than have the days off.
Well, once you get there, you realize what a special day that is. You know, to see the All-Stars from both sides and become teammates, at least for a day or a couple of days, with guys that you do battle with throughout the rest of the year. One of my favorite All-Star Game teammates was Kirby Puckett, the late great Kirby Puckett, who would just light up the room in the American League. He was the de facto captain for years of the American League squad back in the 80s and 90s. You get a feel for personalities of people and make friends that last a lifetime, and memories of All-Star Games past that are just remarkable. You have to be there and go through it to understand. Great Kirby Puckett, the former Minnesota Twin. Late great Kirby Puckett.
Fouled away. One-two. Snap throw to first. Just getting back is Cano. Chavez showing out the arm.
See Robinson drifting, just gets back. Hand in. The glove of the tag come down on top of the hand. Chavez from his knees. Quick flip to first. Very close.
Now, David, I need you to help me out with something. A friend of mine just texted me and said that I said that Girardi's game was in the 7th game in '96. Didn't I say the 7th inning? It was the 6th game. There was no 7th game.
There was no 7th game.
So if I did say 7th game, I apologize, but it's the 7th inning of the 6th game. I want to get that right. I was there, so I do remember that.
And that's when the great Mariano Rivera was the setup guy for John Wetland. As soon as Girardi hit that triple and we took the lead, we knew Mariano Rivera was coming in that game. We felt pretty good about our chances to win the World Series in New York. Ooh, that'll buckle you. Even though you've got a chest protector on and that was off some padding, That was a direct blow, almost to your right shoulder. Boy, unless you're paying attention, and you don't realize the beating some of these catchers take. Well, Posada recently, too, has taken a lot of foul tips, and Chavez with a dirty one right there. Got a little padding right along there, along the collarbone that comes up, but he took that shot right about in there, kind of half and half.
You know, we're talking about All-Stars, and it looks like 3 Yankees are going to go. The Yankees are just a game, or 3 Yankees are going to go, and the Yankees are just a game behind the Red Sox, just a game, and the Red Sox have 6 that are going. Pedroia, Jason Bay, Kevin Youkilis, Tim Wakefield, happy for him, who's had a good season, Josh Beckett, and Jonathan Papelbon. So 1 game difference, but double the All-Stars. 3-2. Soft ground ball is short. They'll get 1, that's all they'll get. Live Yankee games at the beach, live Yankee games at the office. Now you'll never miss a live Yes Network Yankee game again. Starting July 8th, Bronx Bomber fans are going to be able to watch live Yes Network Yankee games on their personal computers and laptops. Now, if you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. And there's a strike.
Quite a turnaround in this game in a short period of time. The Yankees with 2 in the bottom of the first and 2 in the bottom of the second. Looked like they were taking control of this game, and all of a sudden, Blue Jays throw a 3 spot in the top of the third, and Brett Cecil's got new life. Trying to get the ball down here, maybe get a ground ball and get back in the dugout.
Fouled away. Speaking of the Red Sox, they lead Seattle 2-0 in the top of the 4th inning, trying to avoid a sweep.
Very happy for Tim Wakefield, as you said, Michael. I mean, the guy who's had a remarkable career. John Lester pitching today, up 2-0 in Boston. But Tim Wakefield certainly very deserving. His first All-Star game appearance of his career.
Really, that is nice. And I know Yankee fans are programmed not to like the Red Sox, and I understand that. But Tim Wakefield is an incredibly charitable-oriented guy, runs a lot of stuff during the offseason that goes under-publicized, and just a real classy guy. I think a lot of people in baseball are happy for him. They don't like facing him, but they're happy for him.
42-year-old rookie All-Star game.
1-2. 2-2.
You know what? The way he throws that knuckleball, he might make it again when he's 52, Michael. Just keep pitching. You know, I was a teammate of Tim Wakefield's in 01 with the Red Sox, and I told him, you know what, this is probably my last year of pitching, and you're going to have a whole nother career after I retire this year, and he really has. That was 01. He's still going strong, making the All-Star team here in 2009.
She's not much younger than you.
You should have learned the knuckleball.
I'm surprised you did. That would seem like a natural for you.
A lot more difficult than you think it is. Just getting it over for strikes. That's the thing he's mastered, is just being able to throw it. And then you see a little modified splitter change-up grip from Cecil.
Strike 3. Ransom down looking.
One of the best breaking balls from Cecil today. Cecil, rather. Down and in. See Chavez trying to frame it. Pull it back up. It's almost like Marty Foster thought about it. See that movement in the glove? Generally, you don't get that call, but Marty Foster kind of looked at it an extra beat and then decided to go ahead and ring him up.
right? Grounded to short. And that'll do it. So for the Yankees, in the third inning, no runs a hit and one man left. We've played 3 at 4-3 Yankees. Well, it's time for the New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. Yesterday was the 26th anniversary of Dave Righetti's no-hitter. Who started the game for the Red Sox? Back in 1983. I think the answer was Tim Wakefield.
Tim Wakefield. Threw 95 miles an hour back then.
Here's Overbay. Fouled away.
Tell you what, Dave Righetti was throwing 95 miles an hour that day. At least.
You know, with Jaba on the mound, it always serves to mention Dave Righetti. Dave Righetti was a great starter for the Yankees. He really was. Left-handed. Came over from Texas in a really good deal for the Yankees. And Goose Gossage got hurt. And they needed a closer. They had to have a closer. And they converted Dave Righetti to be a closer. And then Goose left as a free agent. And they never put Righetti back. I think it was a great regret for Righetti because he thought that he could have been a really memorable starter for the Yankees, and he became a very good reliever. I don't think he was a great reliever. And that debate always seems to be raging with Jaba Chamberlain. Start or relieve. The Yankees seem intent on him starting. And the interesting thing, now that the injury to Chim-Ming Wong has surfaced, there's really no option there. Now they're down a starter. It's not as if they could just willy-nilly say, okay, now Jaba's going to the bullpen. They need him in the rotation. Now he's their 4th starter.
Well, especially with the emergence of Phil Hughes doing so well in the bullpen, too. Jaba, another 3-2 count here. Top of the 4th.
Line drive to left field, a base hit for Overbay. Well, before the game, Tri-State Ford dealers gave away a car that they had run a contest for, and Derek Jeter signed it right over the glove compartment, and the winner's name was Terry Wynn. And when he drives around town in that car, Ford Mustang, they're going to know he's a Yankee fan. So congratulations to Terry Wynn. outside to Vernon Wells. Swing and a miss.
I've seen Jaba feature a lot of fastballs, but here's that slider, and that's the thing about Jaba's slider. It does something different every time. That one goes straight down off the table. Gets such tight spin on it. 43 out of his 63 pitches have been fastballs today. You could see it, Michael. You could see with Jaba, Chamberlain, and Posada behind the plate, you could see that they're trying to throw more fastballs. They're trying to get away from too many breaking balls, a lot of 3-2 sliders. They thought Jaba maybe was becoming a little predictable. They're trying to establish Jaba's fastball early in this game, as you see 65 pitches, 40 strikes. When a guy's got a good slider, you've got to throw it enough, though, to be able to retain your feel for it. It's easy to say, let's just throw all fastballs, but when you do need your slider, you need to have that feel for it. But sometimes, Michael, the best laid plans are you still need a good mix of pitches. It'd be great to go through the lineup for 1 or 2 times throwing all fastballs and maybe a breaking ball here and there. But the third time through the lineup, when you need that slider and you haven't thrown it enough to get a feel for it, sometimes it's not there.
High fly ball, left field. Damon fighting the sun, and he puts it away for the first out.
Damon, sunglasses down, glove up, 2 hands. There you go, little leaguers. 2 hands right there. It's a 2 hands kind of day, Michael.
We have a generation of kids that think 1 hand. I think Luis Castillo is rethinking 1 hand. Grounded to third. Tough hop from Ransom. It's an E5. So Rios reaches. We'll see. Maybe they'll call it a hit because of the tough hop. But if you're a pitcher, you expect that play to be made.
He looked like he almost got a hop off the lip, and it came up higher than he thought it would.
And it is an E5.
He's got his glove going down. You see, didn't have time to turn the glove back over. He's expecting a lower hop. That's why the web of the glove is facing down instead of turning it back over to get sort of a higher hop. Although it did hit off the dirt. A lot of topspin. Tough play because Ransom never really had a chance to charge that ball. He almost had to let that ball play him. Tried to back up, backpedal a couple steps, and just couldn't get his glove up high enough.
First and second, 1 out. We're in the 4th inning. Slow moving game here in the Bronx. A lot of pitches being thrown. A lot of base runners. And the count 2-0. High pop-up. Going to be a tough play. A lot of sun, a lot of wind now. But Swisher calls off Cano for the second out. Well, you can see at this ballpark, the flags over the facade Those are the flags in right field. They're not moving. But if you look at the flags over the third base grandstand, they're straight out as if they're starching them. That's how much they're moving. So in different parts of the ballpark, wind whips a little bit stronger. And you can see, we talk about how the ball travels to right center. If you see the flags over the grandstand on third base, that's where the wind is really blowing.
Up above. That's why the fly balls that get up above the facade seem to carry.
And then if you look at the American flag, which comes out of the bleachers in left center, that one is very mild right now. There doesn't seem to be much wind whipping at all. So it's not blowing in from the outfield. From above the stadium, though, that's where the wind takes effect.
Winds are up to 10 miles an hour out of the west. Once again, this ballpark is the same orientation as the old Yankee Stadium. You see those flags up high above the facade are whipping. Even more so yesterday on Johnny Damon's home run. The winds were up to same thing. Comes kind of out of the west, but we're whipping up around 15 to 20 miles an hour yesterday.
And the pitch. Line down the left field line. That is a base hit. It goes up against the wall. Overbay will score. Moving to third is Rios. It's an RBI double for Chavez, his second double of the game, and the game is tied at 4. So the error by Ransom allows an unearned run to score and tie the game.
See Chavez get a slider that almost backs up on him. Chavez has had some good at-bats. Drills it right inside the foul line. You see this hanging slider. Posada reaching the glove all the way across to the inside corner to try to catch it. Never got there. Chavez ties it up with a double.
So Ransom's E5, that would have been the second out, and DeLucci's fly ball to right. Again, you can't say that it all would play out the same. Would have been the third out, and that means that Chavez would not have come to bat, so it becomes an unearned run, but it's on the scoreboard and it counts, and now Jaba has to get tough, keep the 2 runners on base from scoring. Here's Marco Scudero. Count 1-0.
We talked about Jaba kind of bending but not breaking on the year here in 09 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Opposing batters are only batting 200 off of him, so he has done well in these situations.
There's a strike. Grounded to third, and it's a foul ball. And a mock cheer for Ransom.
Jaba's pitch count now up to 77 pitches here in the top of the 4th.
Count 2-2. The Yankees have taken the first 2 games of the series 4-2 Friday afternoon, 6-5 yesterday in 12 innings. They led 4-0 in this one after 2 innings. But the Jays, with 3 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th, have tied it, threatening to take a lead, 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Fouled away. Well, we told you before the game, the Yankees really need length out of Chamberlain today, because a lot of their main components in the bullpen not available. Phil Hughes, Phil Koch, Brian Bruni. they're going to be put on the shelf after pitching a lot recently.
24th pitch of the inning coming up for Chamberlain too here.
And it'll also be the 80th pitch of the game. So you kind of figure he's got one more inning in him if he has his typical 20-pitch inning.
Jaba going to the curveball here. We've seen a lot of this with Jaba's breaking balls. Even when he throws his good ones, Toronto has been able to foul him off and spoil them. And when he's gotten burned, he's gotten his breaking ball up in the zone.
The 2-2. Count is full at 3-2. Brett Cecil was so dangerously close to getting blown out of the game. Now he has a chance to pick up a win as the team has tied it up for him. Lined into center field. That is a base hit in front of Cabrera. 2 runs will score. It's a 2-run single for Scudero. And what a tough turnaround for the Yankees. Up 4-0, now down 6-4.
Well, it's another slider that stays up. Scudero lines it into center field. You see Melky's break right here. Line drive, Melky tries to come in, pulls up at the last minute. It's a backbreaker for Chamberlain and new life for that young lefty.
Seems like Melky was caught in between. Should I make or try to make the catch, or should I keep it in front of me? With 2 outs, it almost seemed like the thing to do to try to make the catch. He did pull up.
Well, we've seen Brett Gardner, when he plays center field, plays a little more shallow center field. It comes in quickly, and Melky more medium depth, and he's got good range, but he didn't really get a quick break on that ball, although the line drive off the bat right at you certainly is a tough play in this stadium during a day game.
High fly ball deep right, going back, Swisher. That ball's gone! A home run by Aaron Hill over the auxiliary scoreboard. A 2-run shot, and it's 8-4 Toronto. David, I never thought that had a chance to go.
Well, the other way, it's a fastball, outer half. You see Hill's got some pop. I mean, he's got 19 home runs. Now you're looking at number 20. Yankee Stadium, right over the auxiliary scoreboard in the first row. Somewhere on the Toronto bench, maybe Roy Halladay's got a little smile on his face after giving up someone similar to that yesterday, but probably not. But now, Jaba's got a snowman on the board. The dreaded snowman for a starting pitcher is that 8. An 8 spot now here in the top of the 4th.
Now, this is not going to overtly affect Jaba's ERA because all of these runs are unearned because of the error by Cody Ransom, but they were earned on the board. Eight runs allowed in a start, the most that Jaba's ever allowed. And the inning continues as Adam Lynn lines a single center, and the crowd getting all over Chamberlain, raining boos down upon the youngster. And Joe Girardi looks like he's about to pull the plug.
Jonathan Albaladejo is warming up in the Yankee pen, and he hasn't had a lot of time. So Albaladejo called up today to replace the injured Chin-Ming Wang. And
Jaba Chamberlain really struggles. We'll be back to talk about it in a moment. Jonathan Albaladejo, who was up earlier and started the season with the team, didn't have great numbers. That's why he was sent down, but called up before the game today to take Chen-Ming Wang's place on the roster. And I guess the Yankees were thinking, hey, Jaba doesn't usually give us length. We need another guy in the bullpen, so they will go to Albaladejo. And the pitch is low.
Well, Michael, with respect to Jaba Chamberlain, as you see him in the bench there in that line, 9 hits, 8 runs. As I said, the dreaded snowman. An 8 spot for a pitcher, given whether they're earned or not, still does not look good on that line. It's one of the first times I've seen Jaba without his good breaking stuff. We've seen Jaba always being able to get swing and misses with that slider. Toronto Blue Jays did a great job of battling, fighting off his decent sliders, and then when he did make a mistake, they made him pay. But the first times I've seen Jaba Chamberlain without a swing and miss breaking ball.
You think a player could get spooked by a stadium because he's pitched well on the road, but he has not pitched well at Yankee Stadium? Do you think it's in his head?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's a small sampling. You know, it's not like he's been doing it for a couple or 3 years, and you know, it's tough to look at a small body of work and make determinations as to what's going on inside of his mind. But until you get a win in your home park, it does weigh on you. I'm sure he wants to pitch well at home and did not like getting booed today and knocked out of this game.
Fouled straight back here and under our booth. Albaladejo pitched well in Scranton Wilkes-Barre after getting sent down. 17 games, 1-0, and a 1.59 ERA. Pitched 17 innings. Check that, not 17 games. Two. 3-2. Along with David Kona, Michael K. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Top of the 4th inning. And the Blue Jays lead the Yankees 8-4 in a game that the Yankees led 4-0 after 2 innings. Runner goes. 3-2 is lined, and it's line foul. Ransom doesn't get there. Now entering today, this year, Jaba has a 5.17 ERA at home and a 2.74 ERA on the road. So that's a stark difference. That's almost double the amount of runs you give up. Fouled away.
One of the first starts we've seen from Jaba Chamberlain that really got away from him. You know, even though at times he struggled, he's always been able to sort of not let these games get away from him. Keep his team in the game, 3 runs or less in several of his starts. The first time this one really got away from him. Joe Girardi had to get out there. He had to get Albaladejo up in a hurry, get him loose, and get him out of the game. Very rare occurrence so far in Jaba's young career to let a start get away from him. Happens to all of us, Michael. I certainly know that feeling. It happened to me many times. One of the first times you've seen Jaba Chamberlain walk off the mound to some smattering of boos as well, although you never know where the boos are directed, maybe at the manager for not getting them sooner or at the pitcher himself.
3-2. And Rolen continuing to battle. You wonder what goes through the head now of Cody Ransom. If he makes that play, the inning might unfold in a different manner. The Yankees might still have the lead. You can't blame the whole thing on him because, you know, we've talked about this in the past before. It's the pitcher's job to pick up his fielder. But Jaba didn't have the stuff today to pick up his fielder. Hot shot, base hit through the left side. And moving to third is Adam Lind. And that extends Rolen's hitting streak to 22 straight. And here's Lyle Overbay. He started it all with a single left, so the Jays have batted around and starting it all again.
Boy, a great at-bat by Scott Rolen. 10-pitch at-bat. All fastballs from Albaladejo. Rolen finally breaks through, gets another hit.
Popped up. And that'll be out of play. First and third, still 2 outs. Line drive right at Jeter, and the inning is finally over. But the Blue Jays score 5 runs. They knock Jaba Chamberlain out of the ball game. And that was the play that kind of opened the gates, and the hits just kept on coming. So did the runs. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Time for the answer to the New York State Smokers Quick Line Quiz. Dave Brighetti's no-hitter 26th anniversary yesterday. It was against the Red Sox. Who started the game for the Sox? John Tudor. Left-hander. And the Jays left-hander deals to Johnny Damon. There's a strike. So the Yankees will have another comeback. But they're going to win this as they're down 8-4. 3 runs in the third for the Jays, 5 runs in the fourth. Turning 4-0 Yankee lead into an 8-4 deficit. And Johnny Damon attempts the drag bunt and fouls it off.
You know, Michael, I watched a little bit of Rags' no-hitter on the Yes Network the other night. Did an encore of Rags' 4th of July no-hitter. And the amazing part to me was the catchers didn't move a lot back then, especially early in the count. They just sat right down the middle. You see Chavez moves every pitch. Every catcher nowadays moves on every pitch, either to the inside or the outside corner. And you watch Thurman Munson catch back in the 70s and 80s, and he set up right down the middle until you got 2 strikes and then he moved, and you see him shift to the outside corner with the gloves right on the corner. It's something that just didn't do back in the 80s as much. And that's kind of the genesis of the strike zone change, where it used to be a little bit of a higher strike zone and gradually to progress to a lower, more off the plate strike zone. And it's almost as if Major League Baseball is trying to get back to the future, get back to that old 80s kind of strike zone where catchers set up on the plate and get more high strikes as opposed to pitches off the plate called strikes.
And Damon swings and misses. He's 0 for 3 against Cecil.
Butch Weiniger was the catcher that particular day for Rags, and his no-no on the 4th of July.
Well, that's a strikeout for Damon. Mark that a K on your scorecard, and for a more delicious kind of K, try Green Mountain K-Cups from WB Mason. A perfect cup every time, a fresh cup when you want it. I've always wondered about catchers moving, and a lot of hitters that I spoke to, they say that you can't see it. You can't feel it. And I was talking to your old teammate Darryl Strawberry last week, and he said you absolutely can feel when a catcher moves. He said anybody who tells you, he said, I don't know what they think. He said, I'm not talking about peeking. He said just the physical feeling of feeling somebody move behind you, and if they're moving way inside, he said if you're a smart hitter, he said you're going to be able to deduce what type of pitch is coming. You know what the pitcher's repertoire is. If they're setting up, it has to be a certain pitch, if it's inside or outside. He said, but you do feel it.
Especially inside.
Yes.
And a lot of times we saw Tony Pena, the coach with the Yankees, when he caught, he would fake it. He would pound the glove inside and then move away to sort of, you know, try to fool a guy like Darryl Strawberry who thought maybe a catcher was moving inside.
Paul O'Neill always says that Pudge Rodriguez was really a proponent of pounding the glove on one side of the plate and then setting up outside. He said, but he did it so much, I turn around and go, Pudge, I get it.
Yeah.
He said, and after a while it would work to my advantage because he would pound inside. He said, and I knew that he was going outside. He said, because I know he's not going to pound inside and come inside. He's going to pound inside to try to deep me.
See this pitch on 3-1. There's the high strike. So that would have been a strike in Rags' no-hitter game. The ball off the plate would not have been called. Marty Foster hearing it from the Yankee bench. That's the dilemma that umpires now have today.
And Teixeira gets knocked down and gets himself his 3rd walk. So they have not pitched to Teixeira at all. 3 walks. Trying on 14 pitches.
Trying to come back in again. You see it's got a little cut. See Brett Cecil's reaction right after that pitch. Certainly no intent on a 3-2 pitch. Now that he's on the winning end of things, leading 8-4. But it's a tough adjustment for umpires nowadays, especially veteran umpires, to change their strike zone and start calling higher strikes, more on the plate strikes. And you've been conditioned for years and years to call, maybe to give pitchers the outside corner, a little bit off that outside corner.
And there's a strike. Posada got the game-winning hit yesterday, and because of that game-winning hit, a walk-off hit, he got a pie in the face. You can tell that Posada don't play that, and didn't seem like he was that enamored with it. He was kind of deked out by Jaba Chamberlain, and then A.J. Burnett came on and kind of got him on the side of the face. I never thought that they would do that to Posada because he's one of the old guard Yankees, and I just didn't think that he would be too happy about it. He's happy about that. As he lands a single, he's 3 for 3. And here is the pie that he got. Kim Jones has to duck out of the way. Now, you know Posada. He's really old school and kind of very serious about what he does. I don't think that that's something that he really digs.
No, probably not, but I think he's going to make an exception because it's A.J. Burnett, a new teammate who's trying to establish himself as a leader. It's very hard for guys to come in, free agents to come in and play for the Yankees, especially with the old guard, Jeter, Posada, Mariano Rivera. A.J. Burnett's a loose character. You kind of want to give him a little leeway to establish himself, and it's been well received in the clubhouse for the most part. And I think Posada will make an exception, especially if A.J. Burnett continues to pitch the way he has.
Now, one guy that I just can't picture them doing it to is Jeter. I mean, it would be like hitting Joe DiMaggio in the face with a pie. I mean, you just don't do that. I don't think that Jeter would like it. I really don't. I wonder if they would do it to him. I guess they would. I mean, you can't leave him out from the reindeer games. But it's something to watch if he gets a walk-off hit this year. High fly ball, right field, going back reels, on the track, at the wall. See ya! A 3-run home run for Hideki Matsui. Yankees right back in it. It's an 8-7 Blue Jay lead.
Hideki Matsui reaches out and hooks a slider middle of the way, and he knows it right off the bat. This will be the 10th home run from Matsui at home at Yankee Stadium this year. And this is what he can do for you. The lower half looking better. Look at that back leg, being able to drive and turn off of that back leg. Firm front side as well. You really need your knees to drive through and hook outside pitches like that. And Matsui getting better.
How about this stat? 8 of Matsui's 13 home runs have come against left-handed pitchers. He's had a very good homestand. 7 for 15. B.J. Ryan warming up. That one is driven to left field. Backing up is Lynn, but he's got room. And he makes the play for the second out. So, David, looks like it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a 4th of July weekend. We've got some fireworks going off here today. Hideki Matsui with a big 3-run home run to change the momentum. Swisher kind of tries to pull his hands in and knows right away. Boy, almost like he was looking in. Got it and just missed it.
Brad Arnsberg goes out and talks with Brett Cecil. Here's Robinson Cano. He's 1 for 2. Now 1-0.
Brett Cecil's 97th pitch on the day.
There's 98. It's a strike. We're in the bottom of the fourth, and Blue Jays lead the Yankees 8-7. And the count 3-1 to Cano. Joe Girardi will try to get through this game. Had to go to the bullpen in the fourth inning. Certainly something a manager never wants to do. But today he had to. And Albaladejo, the first one to get the call. But now it's a close game. Managed a little bit differently than a blowout.
Well, that's the thing, you know, we talked about yesterday with the Yankee bullpen, Michael, is that there's really no mop-up duty out here with this team. You're never out of the game. Every inning out of that bullpen this year for the Yankees are important innings.
Base hit for Cano. And that's going to do it. That's the last pitch that Cecil's going to throw.
Another slider from Cecil that tries to get down and away, but just never gets there as Robinson Cano cuts it off, hooks it in the hole for a base hit.
Well, he's going to signal to the bullpen. The veteran manager of the Blue Jays. A tough day for Cecil. We've only just begun. How should they replace him in the rotation? You've been texting us at 58772, and it's close, but your choice is to stretch out Phil Hughes. Second choice, acquire a pitcher, then call up a pitcher, and you want Asaves to remain in the bullpen. But Joe Girardi pretty much said that's not the solution. We are not moving Phil Hughes into the rotation out of the bullpen.
Well, if you combine the last two categories in that text poll, then the favors either acquiring a pitcher or calling up a pitcher, which is essentially the same thing.
Here's B.J. Ryan, and boy, has he fallen. One-time closer now coming in the fourth inning of the game as he deals a strike. Ryan's had arm problems, signed a long-term deal with the Blue Jays. Closed for the Orioles, closed for the Jays, but here he is pitching in the fourth. Foul back.
Been better of late, though. He got off to a tough start, had an over 11 ERA in April. And then in May, a 6.35 ERA. But so far, through the month of June, now obviously in July, in June, in 11 games, he had a 1.04 ERA. So he's certainly better as of late, but has lost his closer's job.
Count 1-2. Used to be an intimidating, hard-throwing left-hander. Still a left-hander, not so intimidating, doesn't throw as hard.
double trouble on left-handed batters with that slider that you just saw there. Kind of a sweeping hard slider. Certainly not all the way back from his injury.
Runner goes. And throw to second. Perfect throw by Asaves to now Robinson Cano. Just a great throw. But the Yankees creep closer as Hideki Matsui with a 3-run home run. A lot of runs scored in the fourth. It took 43 minutes. Yankees down by 1. Thanks, Nancy. First pitch to Vernon Wells, a strike, and we are underway here in the 5th inning. It's 8-7. Blue Jays over the Yankees. Pitch is outside at 1-1. 8-10-1 for the Blue Jays on the Lexus scoreboard. 7-9-1 for the Yankees. That 4th inning, David, that is, I guarantee, not going into any time capsule.
Couple of big crooked numbers. 5 spot for the Blue Jays. 3 for the Yanks in the bottom of the 4th.
Ground ball is short. Jeter's there. David, how many snowmen did you ever give up? I mean, for those that don't know, the number 8 is a little snowman. So how many did you ever give up?
I've given up a few snowmen before, definitely. And you just remember it. I know it's a name that sticks with you, but obviously there's the snowman. There he is. You put a little carrot in his nose right there. There's his eyes. Snowman is not the number you want if you're a pitcher or a golfer for that matter.
Here's Alex Rios. Now, so you went with the 2-level snowman. You know, sometimes they go with 3 levels too.
You can go 3 levels, but 2 levels just fine. You get the hat on top. You put the hat on top and the carrot in the nose.
I can't picture you building a snowman in Kansas City, little David.
That's right. The snowman, yeah. Well, you know, that's why we went 2. We didn't get as much snow as you get up here in the East Coast. But not making fun of Jaba's day. Obviously, he struggled. He battled. I've been there before. I've had 8 spots, you know, and sometimes that's the next day is when your teammates will get on you a little bit, Michael. There's nothing sacred in that clubhouse. And somebody tomorrow will probably mention that to Jaba after you let him cool down and see if the Yankees can come back and win this game. But if I was on that team, I'd say something to Jaba tomorrow. Nice snowman.
That one is lined into right center field. On the run is Swisher. He can't get there, and it's going to go to the wall as Rios gets himself a double. Then the ball mishandled, and Rios will go to third. We'll see if they give him a triple or a double and an E9.
Jonathan Albaladejo up and away. Rios up and away in the gap. Nick Swisher rather. Little fumble on the exchange. And that turns a double into a double and an error. And Rios ends up on third.
It is a double and an E9. So the Yankees' second error of the game. Now the Yankees bring the infield in for DeLucci. Popped up. Behind the plate, Posada gives it a look. But it's out of play.
You know, Michael, we're all kidding aside, talking about snowmen and my experiences with them. Kind of put a bow on Jaba's day here as we see Albaladejo trying to get out of this top of the fifth and save this run with one out and Rios on third. Jaba really tried to establish his fastball early. I think 30 of his 35 pitches of this game were fastballs. And we talked about it. When he did go to his slider, it wasn't there. His swing and miss, his good slider, and his breaking stuff were not as sharp as we've seen in the past.
By fastball by Albaladejo and the count 0-2.
But as we said, in Jaba's young starting career, it's really the first game that's gotten away from him. We've seen him struggle, but he's always kept his team in the game. He's a real battler. Had a tough day today.
Yankees, as we mentioned, in trying to cut off the run. And the 0-2. Count 1-2.
This is the full Monty in terms of defensive alignment, where everybody is in on the grass.
Fouled away.
And even more so when the pitcher gets ahead, as you see here now, a 1-2 count. DeLucci, a tough out. Now's when you can really take a chance. Whatever your best sinking pitch is, whether you got a splitter or a two-seamer or a hard slider, to really pound it down and play to this defense and make sure you can get a ground ball. Tough to do with DeLucci, who's a veteran, very good hitter.
The 1-2. Spoiled that one. Now Alfredo Asaves begins to throw. Once Matsui hit that 3-run home run, all of a sudden Girardi goes into a different managerial mode. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout of DeLucci, 2 away.
Albaladejo's got a good sinker. He featured it about 3 or 4 times in a row and then goes to that hard slider down and in. That's a great location for a left-handed hitter. And you can see DeLucci, by his reaction, knew he was fooled. He read fastball, and Albaladejo with a quick little slider under his hands gets a big strikeout.
Here's Chavez, 2 doubles against Jaba. Infield backs up with 2 outs. Almost clipped him on the way by, and the count 1-0. One and one. Chavez, no automatic out. 282 hitter. Past several years, Greg Zahn was the catcher for the Blue Jays, but they let the veteran go. Leave as a free agent. Now it's Barajas and Chavez. 1-1. Count 2-1.
Well, you know, not all of Jaba's earned runs runs were earned, obviously, in his outing. We're talking about a snowman, but he's got a company. Bronson Arroyo in Cincinnati today. He's got a snowman. Giving up 8 runs. St. Louis playing Cincinnati today. Sometimes misery loves company, Michael, and that's that locker room humor that you get going, that clubhouse humor amongst pitchers.
Of the 8 runs, 5 were unearned because of the Cody Ransom error.
Bronson Arroyo, the Cincinnati right-handed starter, former Red Sox. 5 of his 8 runs were earned in 5 innings. As St. Louis leads, or since Cincinnati is losing to St. Louis 8-1.
Another foul ball. And through the wicket to the ball boy.
It's a big spot for Jonathan Albaladejo, who obviously got sent out earlier this year. It's his first appearance coming back. He's the next in line after kind of, I wouldn't say squandering his first opportunity, but certainly did not distinguish himself and has a big spot right here.
Strike 3. And he gets out of it with 2 strikeouts. No runs a hit, 1 error, 1 man left on base at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through. Blue Jays lead 8-7. Your chance on a piece of history from the original Yankee Stadium. Seats and other memorabilia now on sale at Yankees.com. All items come with a Yankee Steiner letter of authenticity. For more information and to purchase original Yankee Stadium seats and other collectibles, visit Yankees.com today and click the shop tab. Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Melky Cabrera at the plate, and he takes outside from B.J. Ryan. Melky was at the plate when Robinson Cano was thrown out at second base. And the pitch outside. David, you're laughing. What's up?
Oh, I'm just having some fun with the boys down in the truck.
And the count 3-0.
Getting on you, actually, because I know you got a 2-week vacation coming up after tomorrow's game, and I'm going to Minnesota.
I love Minnesota. I really do.
What are you going to do for 2 weeks off with nothing to do?
Got to keep that quiet. The 3-0 is inside. A walk to Melky Cabrera. So the Yankees have the time on base here in the 5th. I think I'll sleep, David.
When you're dead.
Dirk Hayhurst That's a pretty cool name, Dirk Hayhurst. He begins to throw. Here's Cody Ransom, so he has a chance to atone for the error that kind of opened the floodgates in the 4th inning. Cody, in 18 starts at third base, has 3 errors. He's 0 for 1, walked and scored. Pitch is upstairs, 1-0. So B.J. Ryan has lost the plate, and Chavez going to try to help him find it. Derek Jeter is on deck. Weak hack there by Ransom. Kind of weird, David. You're seeing him, that fastball was 85 miles an hour. This is a guy who used to dial it up to 97, so he has really lost a lot.
Yeah, he was on the DL in late April and early May with tightness in his left trapezius muscle, which you need to throw a baseball.
You need to be loose, too. You don't need tightness in it.
The tight trap.
What's the part of your arm that hurt the most?
My brain muscle. Leading to my arm. A lot of times it's psychological. You know, the difference between injury and pain is a difficult thing for a pitcher to push through, to distinguish between one or the other. B.J. Ryan's had some serious arm problems in the past. He had elbow surgery as well. He's actually, his numbers are decent, as we said in June. His last 11 appearances, almost a 1 ERA. But he's not showing that dominating fastball, as you said, Michael, that he once had. Working his way back.
Runner goes. Slow ground ball to third. Rolling. And they just get Ransom as Cabrera moves to second. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. So here's Derek Jeter with a chance to tie the game as Melky Cabrera is at second. Derek is 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored today. And the All-Star shortstop, who had the most votes of anybody in the American League, is hitting .312. The most votes in Major League Baseball went to the Cardinals' Albert Pujols. And it makes sense. He's having a great season, and the game is in St. Louis, so it all plays out perfectly for him. And the pitch. Fights it off and fouls it off. Crowd thought it was a fair ball, but Jeter never moved.
You know, Michael, and Albert Pujols is not just one-dimensional. He's athletic, plays a good first base as well. He's kind of underrated defensively. The Yankees have found out about Mark Teixeira. Two-way player. Great defensively and a power threat at the plate.
Count 1-1. There's Mark Teixeira. Another one of the Yankee All-Stars, along with Mariano Rivera. That one's driven deep to right field. Rios back, looking up. See ya! A 2-run home run for the captain. And it moves the Yankees back out in front. They lead 9-8.
Derek Jeter gets a backdoor slider that comes in through the front door, rather, and leaves through the side door. Derek Jeter puts the Yankees ahead. This barn burner of a game here on the 4th of July weekend. Well, you know, Michael, B.J. Ryan had that razor blade slider, nasty slider, when he was on top of his game. And that one was a little bit flat, and Derek Jeter roped it for his 10th home run of the season.
Third hit of the day, crowd with the Derek Jeter chant. And there's a strike. Derek doesn't seem as if he's inclined to have a curtain call here in the 5th inning. Down 1-2.
Well, that shows you when Jeter's going well, because that was an off-speed pitch, about 77 miles an hour, designed, as I said, to be a backdoor slider. It ended up more in the middle of the plate. But for Derek Jeter to be able to recognize and wait on that off-speed pitch and still drive it out to right tells you how good he's feeling about his swing. But you see, that's really not that bad, actually. Here's the outside corner. It's working its way this way towards the barrel of the bat. Jeter waits on it, drives it to right field, shows you he's locked in.
And the count is full of 3-2 on Damon. A topsy-turvy seesaw game here in the Bronx as the Yankees up 4-0, down 8-4, now up 9-8. And that one's fouled away. So Jaba Chamberlain's off the hook. So maybe it's easier for people to make fun of a snowman now because his team has got back into the game.
Yeah, the snowman's on the losing end right now. Meaning, obviously, 9 trumps 8. The Yankees now lead by 1.
Good at bat for Damon, continuing to foul off pitches.
You get the feeling, Michael, here in the bottom of the 5th, the Yankees with another crooked number so far. All crooked numbers on the board. No picket fence today. 2 in the 1st and 2nd for the Yankees, 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and the Blue Jays 3 in the 3rd and 5 in the 4th. It's a crooked number kind of day.
Yankees trying to get more crooked as Johnny Damon walks.
You also get the sense, Michael, the offensive display here on both sides is not by a long shot anywhere close to being over today.
Well, Cito Gaston realizes that, so he's already signaled to the bullpen. And that's going to do it for B.J. Ryan. With Mark Teixeira coming up, he's going to elect to turn Teixeira around to the smaller part of the ballpark. A little odd. are going to receive a commemorative inaugural season ticket keychain courtesy of Sponge Tech. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Top outing for B.J. Ryan. And now it's Dirk Hayhurst. His time, his 10th game.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'm not going to try. Teixeira's walked all 3 times today. No contact day for him. It is a little odd, though. I guess it is a testament to how Gaston feels about B.J. Ryan, that you would turn a power hitter around to the short side here at the ballpark. He'd rather have Teixeira hitting from the right side, but he thinks that Hayhurst was probably more effective. He was just trying to find something.
Yeah, Teixeira is a tough matchup because his average is from the right-handed side, even though it's obviously a smaller sampling. He's up in the 340 range, I believe. Batting left-handed is his power side. He's had 16 home runs this year out of his 20 batting left-handed. But he hits for a higher average right-handed so far. Batting just .256 from the left side versus righties, but 16 homers.
Hayhurst has given up at least 1 run in each of his last 7 relief appearances. Take that, at least 1 hit, not 1 run.
Big slow curveball from Hayhurst right there. Gets the inside corner. According to Marty Foster, you see that late break. 76 miles an hour. Teixeira takes a look at it, lets it go by.
And now the count is full. So what do the Yankees do with Damon? Do they send him on 3-2 and 1 out? Posada is on deck. He's 3 for 3. Shift is on, as it's been all weekend. Most of the left side of the infield is open for Mark Teixeira. Runner goes. High fly ball, deep center. Wells back on the track. He'll make the play. Damon was all the way to second and hustles back to first.
See Vernon Wells using his hand and the sunglasses to shade the sun. Teixeira, certainly in the right center field perspective, one of the deepest parts of the park. Almost to the edge of the Yankee bullpen. Good swing, just a little bit underneath it. See the flags up top, up high, blowing, as Michael referred to earlier.
That's going to bring up Posada. Posada is 3 for 3. 2 ribbies. Couple of runs scored. And Hayhurst steps off.
This morning, Michael, in the press room with Bill the Baker. A friend of George Steinbrenner's, has been hanging around for years. told me today is the anniversary of Ted Williams' death 7 years ago on a Tuesday.
Well, the way this game's going, you can have dinner with Bullpen a little later on. Pitch is outside, 1-0.
Bullpen, a legendary character. He's hung out at Yankee Stadium for years. He's a good friend of George Steinbrenner's. Unbelievable mind for dates, places, historical events in Yankee history.
David and I walked past Bill yesterday, and David asked him, what was the date of Lou Gehrig's speech? What day did it fall on? And boom, Tuesday. He just knows these things.
He does. You can add, there he is. There's Bill the Baker. You can ask him, hey, Bill, I was born in 1963, on April 2nd. And about 2 minutes later, oh, that was a Wednesday. Off the top of his head.
And he'll be right. The 1-1. The count 2-1.
But anyway, Ted Williams died on this date 7 years ago. On a Tuesday.
Teddy ball game. And the game 3-1. The count is 3-1. The game, it's another story. It's a tough game to enjoy when pitchers aren't throwing strikes. All kidding aside, and every pitcher that's come in today has had some trouble throwing strikes. It slows the game down. It takes away any kind of pacing it might have. But Yankee fans are happy because the Yankees are up 9-8. They've certainly been able to put runs on the board, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and still batting.
Tough on the catcher's legs today, too. Up and down and up and down. You see Asaves, he and Posada's legs here getting a little tired.
Line drive, and he base hit down the right field line. And Damon's off to the races. He won't second. He's going to third. They're waving him home. The relay throw is not made. It's an RBI double for Posada. The Yankees in double figures. They lead 10-8. Fourth hit for Posada.
Gets a slider right there. Sits. Enter half. Posada is going to stretch out those tired legs. Line drive double down the line. And I tell you what, Johnny Damon does a great job of base running, but an even better read by third base coach Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson right here is making the call already, and Damon picks it up. See Thompson all the way down there. He had already signaled Damon in once he saw the bobble at right field. Good base running, good read by Rob Thompson, their third base coach of the Yankees.
Here's Matsui, got the Yankees right back in the game with a 3-run home run in the fourth. And he takes a pitch low. Last time he had a 4-hit game, over a year ago, April 23rd of last season. Posada's going to get 4 hits after getting hit with a pie. He's going to want to get hit with a pie all the time.
True. You can't argue with success. It's not a good sign, Michael. As you said, you got 4 at-bats. You almost got more at-bats than innings so far, Posada. I got a feeling he's going to get some more, too.
And there's a strike.
Matsui was a big 3-run home run after Jaba got knocked out of this game. His 3-run blast changed the complexion of this game on a dime. 3-run shot.
The 1-2. Jesse Carlson, the other left-hander for the Blue Jays, warming up. Blue Jays with 7 pitchers in the bullpen.
The Blue Jays got to feel shell-shocked right now. You had your best pitcher going yesterday in Roy Halladay. You didn't get the win. Today you show up and you got to scratch your starter. Brett Cecil got the fire alarm and struggled early. Even with that being said, you got a lead. And this one cut that lead down to 1. Matsui with that 3-run shot over the auxiliary scoreboard. Got the score back to 8-7. From that point now the Yankees are up 10-8. But from the Blue Jays perspective, you're really shell-shocked right now. Coming into a tough 4-game series at Yankee Stadium, their first visit here in New York this year. In danger of losing 3 straight.
2-2. Foul back. Well, when Halladay loses his start, the Blue Jays don't feel good about a series. And I think that they go into a series when he's scheduled to start one of the games and say, oh, that's the game we win. Well, how do we get the other game? And Halladay losing with a 5-3 lead late in the contest, that's a little shocking for them. He didn't exactly get the loss, but the team did. Count is full at 3-2. Since the Blue Jays and Yankees met in the middle of May, the Blue Jays are 19-26 and the Yankees 14 games over 500, which is where they are right now. So at that point when they met the Jays, they were a 500 team. 3-2. Line drive. Base hit to right field. Posada rounds third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw from Rios. Posada is out. He had missed the plate. The tag was missed. Then he tried to go back, and Chavez tagged him for the final out of the 5th inning. But the Yankees take the lead. They scored 3 runs on 2 hits. Almost had more, but Posada and Chavez do a dance of catchers. That was so phony, it turned me on. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World and by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. And now they turn it over to Alfredo Asaves as we go to the 6th inning to see if he can restore some order to the proceedings. Every choice for pitching has been a little bit shaky on both sides, although Albaladejo didn't allow a run in his inning and a third. And now they will turn to Asaves, and I would guess, David, that they're hoping to get 2 innings. Anything more than 2, Joe Girardi would be thrilled.
Absolutely at this point. Barn burner of a game. Nothing but crooked numbers on both sides of the ledger. Asaves now in a hold position. Here in the top of the 6th.
So Scudero will lead off. Top of the order, Scudero, Hill, and Lind, as the Yankees have a 2-run lead at 10-8. And the count 1-0. Asaves threw 35 pitches Thursday against Seattle, 2 1/3, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned. Now, David, be honest. Slow-moving game like this, game you didn't pitch. Were you locked in on the bench, or did you go in the clubhouse and take a nap?
No, you're bouncing off the walls right now. You definitely a cup of coffee. Well, I already got my Mickey D's. I drank both of them already, Michael.
So we have no danger of losing you.
No, I'm in. I'm locked in now.
But when you play it must be players hate watching.
See that right there? Boy, that's just boom. Where are you? There's your answer right there, Michael.
And it's tough if you're the Yankees not to be in that clubhouse. I mean, it's the most beautiful clubhouse you've ever seen.
Beautiful clubhouse. Even when I went in the clubhouse, Michael, you know, I was still keyed in on the game, what was going on. Certainly, I was a proponent of being on that bench as much as possible to cheer your team on as a starting pitcher who watched about 130 games a year and got to play in about 30 to 35.
You know, we're joking about it, and certainly not going to ask you to name names, but there were a lot of big-time pitchers over the years. I mean, big-time pitchers, you'd say stars, that when they weren't starting, they were nowhere on the bench, and they were in the clubhouse, and they weren't paying attention to the game at all because they felt that their job was 34, 35 times a year, and that was it.
Yeah, like Sabathia and Burnett sitting side by side there.
Bounced straight back. And I think that players take note of that, David, when a pitcher's not there. I think it bothers them.
Well, you know, it's not as if you're not free to move around. You go up to the bathroom, go get a cup of coffee, go get, you know, a quick snack and get back on the bench. I mean, this is a long game. But just as long as you're into the game, you're interacting with you guys out there, you know, that are on the field trying to win a game for you.
Slow ground ball to third. Ransom gets Scudero one away.
You know, and you brought up the whole point. We saw A.J. Burnett and Sabathia sitting together on the bench. You brought up the whole point about the pie incidents with Posada yesterday, and A.J. Burnett really leading the charge. You know, and this is the new guard right here. Sabathia and Burnett are the new guard. It's very hard for those guys to come into that Yankee clubhouse and interact with the old guard. The Posadas, the Jeters, the Mariano Riveras. And A.J. Burnett's trying to break the ice. He's trying to create a loose atmosphere around there, along with Nick Swisher. You know, and I applaud that. You know, I know some people would say that's not the Yankee way, and Posada did not like getting pie in his face yesterday, but you know what? A.J. Burnett is now going to be a leader on your team, and he's trying to loosen things up. He's trying to integrate himself in that clubhouse and become a leader himself. And I certainly understand it. You know what, A.J.? I applaud it. He's doing his best to be himself and stay loose, and also at the same time integrate himself into a very difficult clubhouse with veteran leaders that have World Series rings.
The 1-1. Really interesting, because I was talking to a lot of Blue Jay people today, David, and they're stunned at how he has integrated himself and acclimated himself, because they said he kind of like reset himself back from everybody in Toronto. Not that he was standoffish, but not that outgoing. They're amazed by the A.J. Burnett that's put on pinstripes. So he must be very comfortable there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's making a big effort. He wanted to come to New York. He waited in the offseason, much like Mark Teixeira. And you get the sense that even though they were highly sought-after free agents, that this was their first choice.
Swing and a miss, and Aaron Hill down on strikes. They announced the American League starters earlier. They announced both the league starters. Bay, Hamilton, and Suzuki left to right. In the infield, Longoria, Jeter, Pedroia, and Teixeira. And Maurer behind the plate. So 2 Yankee starters, and Mariano Rivera is going as well.
A lot of people, as you said, Michael, said that same thing about Teixeira. As you see, there he is, the future Hall of Famer, Mo Rivera. But Teixeira asserted himself more, too, now. And obviously, Teixeira bounced around a little bit when he got traded to the Angels last year. And see the reserves.
Adam Lind with a pop up to shallow right, coming on Swisher. There's one away. We'll take a closer look at those reserves as we move along, as we go to the bottom of the sixth. Yankees lead 10-8 here on Yes.
For the Yankees, right fielder, number 33, Swisher.
Well, back here at Yankee Stadium, Aaron Hill, one of the Blue Jays All-Star representatives. In fact, he is the Blue Jay All-Star representative. Those are the reserves in the American League. Victor Martinez having a great season for the Indians. Then you've got Morneau, Youkilis, Hill, Bartlett, and Michael Young. Bartlett really has had a great season. And the outfielders Crawford, Gunderson, Hunter, Adam Jones, and Ben Zobrist.
Got some young guys breaking through.
And here are the pitchers. So they bring 13 pitchers. King Felix from Seattle. Edwin Jackson, that looks like a pretty good trade there now for the Tigers to get him from Tampa Bay.
Tim Wakefield, the 42-year-old knuckleballer. At the bottom of the list, a great choice. First All-Star game after all those years, as we said earlier, Michael.
Here's Nick Swisher. And that's foul back. Those are the numbers on Carlson. Now the top of the sixth inning is noteworthy in that it was the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for either team. Boy, the manual scoreboard people really doing a lot of work today. 10-8. Swisher strikes out to open up the sixth.
Carlson kind of a sidewinding, slinging slider in, and Swisher trying to hold up. A little semi-Reggie Jackson impersonation down to one knee, but a swing and a miss.
There's Robinson Cano against Carlson. One 1-0. Mariano gets out into the bullpen. Usually gets to the bullpen around the fifth inning. He gets a massage. And Derek Jeter was joking about it because earlier in this homestand, when Mariano came out to throw out the first pitch to honor his 500th save, Jeter said that's very, very unusual for him because it takes him 5 innings to loosen up. So he usually spends the first 5 innings in the clubhouse, gets a massage, gets ready, and then goes out when it's time to go to work.
That guy can do whatever he wants. He's earned it. Whatever he needs to get ready, to get in his zone, to pitch the 9th inning, he's got a free run.
There's a ground ball up the middle. Scudero. Now, David, I know you pitched out of the bullpen in the 2000 series. Did you hang out in the bullpen much on days you didn't pitch? Because that would seem like a good place for you.
Occasionally, I would venture down there. You know, some guys that are hardcore pen members, the bullpen, they don't allow starters down there. You have to be a member. You have to have a membership card to even go down and visit sometimes, depending on the makeup of your bullpen. But I was a former committee member. I was a former reliever, so I had an honorary card, so I could go down and visit, but they wouldn't let me stay too long.
Pitch to Melky Cabrera is a strike.
Jeff Nelson and Mike Stanton, they'd let me come down and tell some jokes, tell some stories, and then kick me out. Get back out of here. Go back to the dugout.
The 0-1. 0-2.
That's an elite club on any baseball team. The bullpen, the members of the bullpen, especially in games like this. You know they're going to get emptied out.
Back goes one way, ball goes behind the plate. This was a day, as we've mentioned, that the Yankees really wanted to give the bullpen a rest. Even Joe Girardi admitted before the game, we're a little short out there, we're a little tired. But not to be. You have to roll with the punches. Yankees are doing that as Jaba was knocked out in the 4th inning. So now they're going to have to try to piece it together, get the final 13 outs out of the pen. The 0-2. Line drive, a base hit to left field off the bat of Cabrera. So the Blue Jays bid for their first 1-2-3 inning. Washed away by that single. And here's Cody Ransom. Now, what would be important for the Yankees, this is the day that the Yankees and Joe Girardi have chosen to give Alex Rodriguez that day off. So you're taking your cleanup hitter out of a game. And if you can win the game when you give Alex that rest, well, you feel better about giving that rest out. And Girardi, and he'll explain this on the Joe Girardi show, which will come up after the postgame show, he said it's a tough call. He goes, because you want to run him out there all the time. He said, but you have to be smart. He said you have to listen to the doctors. You have to listen to Alex. He said because Alex probably wants to play every game. He said, and we've got to be firm, and he's got to get days off, and he's got to get a day off each week, and we've got to stick to that, make it work, and hope that it doesn't hurt. So if they win the game, this time it doesn't hurt. Man, it's a hard game to figure out. They have 10 runs on the board. They're in the 6th inning, and their cleanup hitter hasn't played, so everything has gone in their favor. Check swing, but he goes around. The Yankees have pounded out 13 hits against 3 Blue Jay pitchers. Check that, 4 Blue Jay pitchers. Count 1-2.
Jesse Carlson, kind of a specialty lefty, really a crossfire kind of guy, kind of a slinging motion. You can see where he'd be tough to pick up for left-handed batters. Gets righties a little different. You might see the ball a little better because he's kind of a low 3/4, throws across his body, but he does have a sweeping slider. He can throw down and into righties.
Foul back.
Upper 80s, sneaky quick. See, he's closed and right there. He's landed way across his body in a slinging, stiff-legged front motion and a hop off the mound. Almost a la Mike Mussina. We've seen Mussina kind of hop off the mound in his delivery, but this is a delivery designed to be difficult and deceptive to left-handed batters.
Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Here in the bottom of the sixth, Yankees up by 2, 10-8. Runner at first. Carlson deals. And the count now 3-2. So that releases Melky at first. Well, he's going to get phonier. When you have that 3-hour conversation with somebody you can't get off the phone, that's who he's going to get, phonier. Used to have that in high school a lot. The 3-2, swung on and missed. And Ransom angrily tosses away the bat and the helmet, mad at himself. No runs a hit, one man left. Let's take this baby to the 7th, 10-8 Yanks. Today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the two of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772. Today's candidates are number 1, Derek Jeter, number 2, Jorge Posada, number 3, Hideki Matsui, number 4, Aaron Hill. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Rowan with a high fly ball to right field. Swisher makes the play with a big smile on his face. He battled that one right into the glove. One pitch, one out here in the 7th.
You can see Swisher drifting. We've talked about a little bit of a breeze out to right field. Ball keeps going towards the line. Swisher had to keep staying with it. Looked like he had a bead on it and had to keep going to go get it.
Ground ball to first. Teixeira's there. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Asaves has been so impressive since he's returned to the Yankees. Tough kid. Pitched in the Mexican League for several years. Really had to pay his dues to get back to the big leagues. And I'll tell you what, he has taken advantage of this opportunity just about as well as anybody in the big leagues right now.
once he gets the motor going, boy, he gets into a groove and throws strikes. He uses all of his pitches, uses the entire plate, up, down, east, west, north, south. And he pitches like a real savvy veteran.
He's a kitchen sink kind of guy. He's got a really good changeup. He's got a cutter. He's got a curve. He throws his breaking stuff to both sides of the plate. He is now 5-1 with a 2.15 ERA on the year for the Yankees.
Count 1-2.
Everything he throws is a little different variation. Little cut to that 89-mile-an-hour fastball. You can see here, little late movement. You see that little spin, a la Roy Halladay. Little cut fastball.
And the 1-2. Well, the Yankees have to make a decision on who's going to fill in for Chien-Ming Wang on Thursday. He's put on the DL. And the Yankees are talking about it. No decision has been made, although Joe Girardi said Phil Hughes not in the mix. Alfredo Asaves was a credible starter for them last September.
Well, on the season now, Alfredo Asaves has had 136 at-bats, and opposing hitters in the American League are hitting 213 off of him.
In a row, and he did it on 8 pitches. The final one, a nasty changeup that well swung through. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning.
Please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Now please join Kate Smith as she sings God Bless America.
Well, thank you, Nancy. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. She's grown up before our eyes. That's how long this game is taking. And Brandon League will take over for the Blue Jays. You see his numbers in 34 games. About a hit per inning, just under that. 34 strikeouts, 11 walks. And he will face Derek Jeter. League pitched yesterday through an inning. Got 1 hit through 10 pitches. And there's a strike. Jeter's had a good day, 3 for 4. His 2-run home run put the Yankees up 9-8 after they had trailed 8-4. Slow roller to a third, going to be a tough play. Barehanded by Rowan. Not in time. Overbay started to toss the ball around the infield to try to sell the call to Chad Fairchild. Fairchild was not buying, so Jeter beat it up.
Well, off the bat, this is a base hit all the way, except you got a 7-time Gold Glover in Scott Rowland barehanding this ball and winging it down there. You talk about bang, bang. I didn't think there was any chance. But I forgot about Mr. Rowland, who makes this play as well as anybody. Oh, boy, that's close.
Wow. Well, Overbay thought for sure it was an out as he tossed the ball to the shortstop Scudero. Here's Johnny Damon against League. Grounded foul. So Jeter with a 4-hit day.
This is a base hit all the way up the plate. So Jeter takes a peek back. Scott Rowland makes a great play. You make the call.
Chad Fairchild did. Damon today 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Inside. A lot of big games around the league with first place ramifications. The Phillies just completed a sweep of the Mets at Citizens Bank. 2-0 they beat them and beat their ace, Johan Santana. Outdueled by Joe Blanton. You just heard Nancy tell us that the Red Sox are trying to salvage the final game of their 3-game set against Seattle. So if that holds up and this holds up, the Yankees go into the final week of the first half of the season down by 1 game. Pitches outside. Damon has 49 runs batted in at this point. Tomorrow's the official halfway point of the season. In terms of games, he has never driven in 100 runs in his career. He has been primarily a leadoff hitter. But hitting home runs this year, batting in the number 2 hole, maybe he gets to it with this Yankee offense, which is very circular. There's a lot of people at the bottom of the order that get on base.
Johnny Damon's the type of hitter, a veteran hitter that can look for certain pitches in his happy zone. Batting left-handed in this stadium, he knows pitches he can drive, and he'll go up there and look for it and actually try to drive it, try to lift. He's got a slide uppercut swing. That's why we call it Damon's deck, because he had a run of home runs here early in the year at Yankee Stadium, but he knows what to look for.
Runner goes, and the pitch is fouled back.
Talked about this 4-day games in a row for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankees will be heading to Minnesota from here after tomorrow's day game on Monday. Play a 3-game set. They're going to miss Nick Blackburn, probably one of Minnesota's best pitchers. He's working on a shutout today against Detroit. 6-0, although Slowey's also an excellent pitcher for Minnesota. Looks like, according to Ryan Rucco here, my trusted ally, Slowey went on the DL. So they'll probably miss him too, obviously. Pitching for Detroit today, the young Morristown kid, Rick Porcello, had a tough one. 4 innings pitch. He's given up 6 runs, 4 earned so far. Or actually, he's out of the game at this point. Jeter goes at 3-2.
checks his swing. Did he check it? Yes, he did. Wally Bell said he checked it, so that certainly ended the confusion right there. So Jeter had taken off. Then he wasn't sure if, in fact, it was a check swing. Then he started to head back to first. It was a check swing. So everything after that was unnecessary as the walk is issued to Damon.
Cito Gaston going to go down to the end of the dugout just to maybe have a word. With the third base umpire, you see the check swing from the overhead right there. Looked like he checked it. Cito Gaston's not so sure. Got him up out of his chair. Go down and have a little talk with Wally Bell, the veteran umpire who was behind home plate yesterday and had a nice game. Although a little more strict interpretation of the strike zone than we've seen from him in the past.
Teixeira skies one to center field. Wells makes the catch and Jeter draws the throw. One out. So Teixeira with 3 walks and 2 fly balls to center. He's 0 for 2. That's going to bring up Posada, who's 4 for 4 today. And in his career, which some might say could end up in Cooperstown, he has never had a 5-hit day. And, you know, people raise their eyebrows about that, David, but Hall of Fame, you're supposed to talk about people that dominated an era. Doesn't mean that you have to be one of the best catchers of all time. Were you the best in your era? And you have to say Posada is up there with the best in his era, and he compares with other catchers throughout time as well. I think he needs a couple more decent years, but I think he's borderline right now. He can make it. Skips out of the way of that. 87-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's an interesting example, Michael. Posada, a career .277 hitter with 232 career home runs, 921 RBIs, over 5,000 at-bats in his career. You know, the thing I look at, Michael, even with Bernie Williams playing center field, Bernie Williams was not Joe DiMaggio, but he carried on that tradition of center fielders. Posada's done that at the catcher position. It's never going to be another Yogi Berra, but for this generation, Posada has carried the torch rather very well. That's kind of what you look at with the generations of the Yankees. Yankees are defined by their generations. And see the 2-8s there. Bill Dickey as well, a great catcher.
And Elston Howard. They've been a tradition behind the plate. Thurman Munson.
Posada has carried the torch very well for the exalted catcher's position in Yankee history.
On to first, Overbay to second, one on to first. It's a double play, a 3-6-1 double play as they finally retire Posada. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the 8th inning at the stadium. Overbay turns it nicely and starts the 3-6-1. Yankees up by 2. Is back in the studio for the Emmy Award-winning WB Mason postgame. Get highlights from this game and the rest of the major leagues. Plus, Kimberly Jones will talk to the team inside the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on us. Well, Alfredo Asaves has restored order to the proceedings for the Yankees. He's worked 2 straight 1-2-3 innings, and he will deal here in the 8th. Alex Rios will start it off, who steps out. You can't really say enough about Asaves. There's nothing about his repertoire that will just knock your socks off. Wow, what a great fastball. Wow, an unbelievable breaking pitch. But it's the combination of all those things that make him very, very effective. And he has been a star out in the bullpen for the Yankees in whatever role they use him.
It's very true, Michael. Probably his best pitch is his changeup, but you can't sit on it because he features so many different looks and a couple of different kinds of breaking balls.
Broken bat and a base hit to left field off the bat of Rios. His second hit of the afternoon. Now, we told you about the players that aren't available out in the bullpen tonight. Phil Hughes, Phil Koch, Brian Bruni. Mariano is available, but he has pitched 5 of the last 6 games. And yesterday he looked, I don't know if you'd agree, David, just a tick off from his normal self when he pitched in the tie game in the 9th. He's never usually great in a tie game, but fastball like a mile per hour less than it usually is. Good change.
Yeah, the thing that saved Mariano Rivera yesterday was his first ground ball double play of the year. Threw a good cutter to Marcos Scutaro, a tough guy to double up, down and away. Got Scutaro to hit it hard enough to Jeter and got his first double play to get out of that inning after the leadoff guy got on.
The 1-2. Tap back to the mound. Asaves goes to second for the out. A little bit of a gamble, especially up by 2, but he decides to get the lead runner.
Yeah, good changeup from Asaves and off the end of the bat from DeLucia. No hesitation.
And you can hear Posada going 2-2-2-2-2. Throwing to second.
Asaves never hesitated. Got the ball out of his glove quickly like an infielder, and a good throw to Jeter.
Here's Raul Chavez. Asaves has not completed 3 innings for the Yankees since May 29th. And a strike.
Well, we've got some good microphones down there. Pick up Posada's vocals a couple of times today, Posada. Tells you what, even with a full crowd, the right time, you still have to talk to each other on a baseball field. Outfielders have to try to communicate. Infielders and outfielders converging. Catchers especially, or the field generals. Posada's got a loud voice. He's well heard.
Has to be loud to cut through the crowd. 46,320 here at the ballpark.
Still like Little League. I got it. You take it. 2-2-2. First base. Simple language among defensive players in the big leagues goes all the way back to Little League.
The 0-2. Swung on a miss. Chavez chases a pitch up and out of the zone for the second out.
Asaves expanding up the zone. Sneaky quick, full swing all the way around, and not only do you get a strikeout, you get a little smack in the back of the head from yourself.
Here's Scudero. And a strike. And it's bunted. Quickly fielded by Asaves. He fires to first and gets him. Asaves has had some day. In that inning, 2 outstanding defensive plays. He's worked 3 shutout innings, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees up by 2. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, it's time to take a look at the Land Rover drive of the game.
And with the Yankees down 8-4, Hideki Matsui with a 3-run bomb to right field. His 8th off of left-handed pitching this year and 13th overall. That brought the score to 8-7. Hideki Matsui in the 4th inning. 3-run bomb, the Land Rover drive of the game.
I'll tell you what, David, I thought that was the most important hit. Because at 8-4, you have a chance to say, you know what, it's just not our day. And with one swing, all of a sudden, it's a 1-run game. And I think it kind of woke them back up and said, oh, wait a minute, we can win this.
Completely agree. In the 4th inning, no less. I mean, the first few innings really dragged, obviously, with a lot of offense. A little disappointment with Jaba Chamberlain getting knocked out.
See the Blue Jays' new pitcher. You saw the numbers, Jason Frazier. And they are good numbers. And he will deal to Matsui.
Jason Frazier has kind of assumed the closer's role from B.J. Ryan, as you mentioned earlier in the game, Michael. B.J. Ryan not fully back from his arm injury earlier this year.
Foul back.
Although you get the sense that Cito Gaston's trying to mix and match right now with his bullpen. So far this year, Frazier's had good numbers. He's 5-1 with a 1.95 ERA, 31 games. Cito Gaston has had that position on this bench for the first 3 games with his arms crossed, trying to figure out a way to get a win. in danger right now of losing 3 straight with another day game tomorrow against the Yankees, a wraparound 4-game series.
Swing and a miss. Matsui down on strikes. And that's going to bring up Nick Swisher. Fouled away. Pitch outside.
Interesting here, Michael. I know it doesn't take Mariano Rivera long to warm up, but here with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, no activity in the Yankee bullpen. That makes you wonder if Joe Girardi's going to run Asaves back out there.
Wow. He'd be up by now if they were bringing in Mariano, don't you think? He's thrown 34 pitches. And as we said, Mo has thrown 5 of the last 6 games, which is 5 of the last 7 days. Hot shot up the middle, grabbed by Scudero. 2 away. Yeah, Mo's got that chill look.
Yeah, he does. He got the shades working, hat off. No game face there. Although he can get it on in a hurry. It looks like Joe Girardi, the manager, is going to ride the hot hand of Alfredo Asaves, who's been very impressive in restoring order to this game, as you said, Michael. And also a great defensive play to end that last inning.
Joe Girardi said that one of the laughs he gets all the time is that the most used phrase by Asaves is that it? Whenever he pitches multiple innings, he says to Girardi, is that it? Well, he's not going to get that's it, I guess. As Cano is out on a beautiful play by Aaron Hill for the final out of the 8th inning as Jason Frazier works a 1-2-3 8th. Well, last licks coming up for the Blue Jays. A close play at first base. Wow, very tight. So is the game, 10-8. So Alfredo Asaves will try to nail this down in the 9th inning. He will face Hill, Lind, and Rowland. And the breaking ball is a strike. Brett Gardner takes over in center field. Melky Cabrera moves over to right. So Nick Swisher out of the game for defense. Soft ground ball to short. Jeter. One away. Let's take a look at the play of the game, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance.
Well, Derek Jeter gets a backdoor slider up to B.J. Ryan. Stays back, drops it over the right field wall to put the Yankees up 9-8. Derek Jeter with his 10th of the year, the Geico play of the game.
Brian Bruni, who they do not want to use today, is warming up. Here's Adam Lind. And there's a strike. Grounded foul. Asaves' longest outing with the Yankees this season came in his first appearance. That was on May 4th against the Red Sox. He went 4 1/3. If he finishes this out, it will be 4 innings even. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. He's 1 out away. David, I know you're digging this performance. This is something else.
This is Mariano Rivera-like. Look at that cutter. Biting. Great location. Great finish pitch. Looks like a fastball. Do you see that little cut spin? About a half a foot of movement underneath the hands of a left-handed batter. Great 0-2 pitch.
Here's Scott Rowland. There's a strike. Jaba didn't have it today. Victimized by an error by Cody Ransom. Albaladejo came on, did a nice job in an inning and a third. And then Alfredo Asaves, he's allowed 1 hit. Alex Rios single in the 8th inning. And now the Blue Jays are down to their final strike. And what's left of the crowd of 46,320, many getting to their feet. Rowland stays alive. Well, they're thinking about stretching out Asaves. This goes a long way. He's at 42 pitches right now.
He is, and he's got that ability, and he's completely unpredictable. 14 breaking balls, 15 fastballs, and 12 changeups. Try to guess with this guy. You just have no idea what he's going to feature.
And the righty deals the 0-2. Ball game over. Yankees win this one 10-8. What a performance by Alfredo Asaves. Outstanding. It's up to the official score. He could give him a win or he could get the save. But I'll